Okay. Hopefully we're live here. The people that are coming from Facebook will miss the first couple of minutes here that I'm talking, but you can go back and watch it later. This is Grant Cameron. Good afternoon and good evening to the people that have joined me from Europe. I have hopefully 6 panel members here today. I have my assistant Desta Barnaby is the host here. She's behind the scenes. I have Marcel Vidovic, who's done a lot of photographic work on C5 encounters. He's here where he's going to share some orb type stuff. I have Connie Hoy, who started sending material to Desta and then started sending to me. She's got a collection. I've got them on a PowerPoint. We're going to go through her stuff. And I have Aneta from Macedonia, and she has her screen turned off because she's either a politician or a famous movie star, and she's cut it off.
Movie star not. Neither a politician. Maybe so next time. That's great.
No, we're just going to show your film. I call you the Chris Bledsoe of Europe. You've got some pretty spectacular stuff, which we're going to go through. And for people that are watching, we did an interview, a couple of weeks ago, Aneta, and that's going to go on the internet, and we go for an hour through your photographs. We just go through one after another. You've got a lot, and you've got with the 3 photographs of the beings and stuff like that. So it's interesting stuff. And then who am I missing? Oh, Jeff. We're going to start with Jeff Sell, who is from Wisconsin, and he's done a lot of CE5 stuff as well. Is pretty good with his camera. He has a lot of photographic equipment. Him and Marcel are the photographic guys. And so we're going to start with Jeff because he has an engagement going there in Wisconsin at the moment. So Jeff, you can take over the screen, say hi to the people, and then take over the screen, and let's see what we have in terms of orbs from you.
Okay. Well, thanks, Grant. I have a number of things here. I don't know where to start, actually.
Yeah.
Should I start with the movie?
Yeah,
okay.
just go to share screen first. Pull the screen up.
Yeah.
Okay. What's your son graduating from?
He's a senior.
Okay. So we had a little bit about this last time with the deer. We had a photograph. I think this is one that was on the last time we did Orbs 1. We're doing Orbs today.
It just worked, didn't it?
Yeah, I can see the deer and the object in the background there.
Okay, here we go.
The Inquisitive Orb. Wow.
So this was taken by my nephew.
Wow. And what interpretation do you put on that?
I don't really know. Now, my brother, this is my brother's land, and he says there's a number of things going on that property. And one of his buddies said that he saw the woods lit up one night. And my brother noticed a lot of strange things. He has like a log cabin there, and he says, "I'll tell you what. One day it sounded like somebody threw a bowling ball against his house." And he went out and looked around, didn't see nothing. I mean, there's nobody that lives around him. He's out in the boonies. So these kind of things are happening.
Yeah. This is Wisconsin, right?
Yeah. And I asked him, it's near Montello, okay, Wisconsin. And I asked him if he had any more of these, and he says he's got all kinds of stuff. So I don't know what that is yet.
Wow. And that's what I sort of noticed I got a category of 15 different things that people have when they're talking about orbs, when they have collections. They usually have huge collections. They don't really show it. They don't show it, but then you ask if you got more, and oh yeah. And it turns out some of these people have thousands, like Aneta, I think, has got thousands of photographs. I mean, but they're not public with these things.
Right.
Are these people experiencers? Do the people that are involved with these cameras? Because no. Okay. They've got no UFO background or other weird stuff going on.
So can you see this?
No, you've got your screen off again. Turn your screen back on.
Okay, let me try that again. Yeah, this is, to me, it works better when I'm not Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay, now do you have it?
Yeah, I've got the deer there again
Okay.
with the object in the back.
Well, this one is, I'm going to have to go through whatever I got, you know.
Okay, yeah, this is the helicopter. So let me give a little background on this. We showed the helicopter last time, and Tony Bintz was one of the guys who got a lot of low-flying helicopters, different types of helicopters, very, very low. And he had two of them with UFOs in, and I already knew that you had one. This seems to be a common occurrence of having helicopters and UFOs in the same frame. And it's almost like yours is in action. So describe what yours is and when this was taken.
Okay, well, now if you notice, now there was some little controversy with a video analyst about whether or not this object was above the helicopter.
Okay.
So as you can see right there, it's above the helicopter.
It is, yeah.
Okay, so then there's another shot that's even more conclusive.
Is there two objects there? Or is that
They're connected. There are two spheres that are connected.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
And they're spinning. They're spinning too. Let's see,
Wow.
how can I just inch this over? How do you do that?
Yeah,
No, that's not it. Okay, so, okay, right there, it's above the helicopter.
Yeah, yeah.
And right there is conclusive. You know, it's absolute. So given that it's above the helicopter and it's below the clouds are at 2,100 feet this particular day. So it's between 500 and 2,100 feet. It could be anywhere in there. So that means the size of this thing, minimum size is about 3 foot with the two objects, 3 foot each. So it's 6 foot wide. That's the minimum size. It could be much bigger. This one here is interesting too. Now, do you see this? See that spot?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Now, this is where I have problems with MUFON. One of the guys I talked with says, yeah, it could be an airplane. You know, that's funny.
Good luck.
It's funny to me, but there it is right there. It's moving. You can see it's not even windy that day. This thing is really moving, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
And I got all kinds of these. Okay.
Did you happen to be shooting, or were you just looking around or outside?
See, I was doing a meditation.
Okay.
You know,
That's another component, is that you know, this meditation thing, that people seem to be able to make this thing manifest.
Yeah. Okay, I'll get rid of that. And let's see, we got that movie. This other one was that V-shaped light. Okay, I'm not sure. Am I sharing or am I not
Oh,
sharing?
no, you haven't shared. No, you're back
Okay.
to.
Okay. Am I sharing now?
Yes. Oh, it looks like our circle there.
Okay, now, yeah, this is the yellow light. It moves over this way in the next picture.
Explain where we are here, because
This is Mount Shasta, and it's at night. It's an hour after sunset.
and that's 2017, correct?
2017, yes.
Okay, just for people's knowledge, we were across the road in a different group, and we had an event at 9:33 that night. Very dramatic event. But you guys are on the other side of the road with Ricardo and Enrique Villanueva, right? And
Right.
Correct.
okay, so now go ahead. This is your group there.
Yeah, this is the group. It's an hour after sunset, so it's dark. We're in the forest. It looks light up on the left top corner, but it's really not. It's quite dark.
Yeah.
Can you see the small? It looks like a small flying saucer right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the yellow light went from here to here. These were taken 6 seconds apart.
Wow.
And then this little thing popped out, and that just so happened. It looked like to me, it looked like the little flying saucer on your book cover.
Wow.
With the Managing Magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you were just across the way too that day.
Yeah. And Marcel has an event. We'll get him to describe his event at that 2017 thing there. You guys had a lot of stuff going on. There was almost like a circus over there. You had all sorts of stuff going on.
So, geez, these are supposed to populate when I click on them. And This one here. This is another one that.
Share again, yeah.
Okay, I'll hit you the share button here. Sorry about that.
No problem.
It's a little clumsy for me here. Okay. All right, this I sent to you a while back, and it kind of identifies orbs. Let's see, can I go bigger screen than this? No, I can't for some reason. Is that big enough?
It's sort of, yeah, we can see it's Mount Shasta again.
Yeah, this is Mount Shasta. This is the same time with that little flying saucer thing. Now, if a lot of people, when you get the sun shining on your lens, sometimes you'll get flare. And the reason I know this is flare here is because it was during an eclipse, and you can see the little section where the moon's covering the eclipse right here. And that's the stage of the eclipse right there in this reflection. But the thing that's funny to me is this. I've never seen anything like this before in a flare. So it reminds me of, I call it Mr. Sun with a goatee.
Wow. So that was a blow up of it, right?
Yeah, that's a blow up of it. That's, it's in this picture right here.
Wow. So that you have the flare, and then you have that other thing above it.
Yeah, there's the sun, there's flare here. It almost looks like a face here.
Wow.
And then there's a flare there, but I don't even know what this is.
That's one of the things I was just looking at with this instrumental transcommunication, where they're providing material to whoever's on the other side to work with. So they're providing like mist, like fog type stuff, or they're providing language, broken up language, or they're providing pointing 6 projectors at a plastic dome type thing. And they use that material. So it may be even the idea that they can take a flare and turn it into whatever they want. Do we provide them something to use, that it's a flare, but it's also being used by them for faces and messages and stuff.
Yeah. So I'm going to have to leave now.
Okay.
I have that other thing going on.
Congratulations to your son, and we'll go to Marcel now, and he'll take over. You guys have been a partner. You guys have been, I guess you've done a lot of events together over the years.
Yeah.
We have, yeah.
Do you still have C5 events in this year, or anything planned in like Michigan or Illinois?
We're planning one in Michigan, hopefully sometime next month. If not, we're going to push it into July, because we still have the stay-home order that's in effect, I think, till mid-June.
Okay.
So a lot of people are reluctant to get together, and I think we're limited in the number of people we can have.
Yeah.
But we're also still planning on possibly Mount Shasta in the fall, and someplace in California, also probably late summer. That's our current intention.
Okay. So thanks to Jeff, he's left us. So you're on up to bat here.
All right, I'm going to share the screen then.
And just for a reminder to people that you've done a lot of CE5 events, and you were the guy with the camera. I think, wasn't Enrique looking for you at the camera when he saw it at 4 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, I have
all that
Sony
big equipment.
Yeah, I have the Sony A7 Mark III, which is really a great camera for night photography. So I had that, and I also have some fixed lenses that are really fast lenses, like a 1.4, 1.2. So I can take photographs in the dark or video in the dark, and great visibility. But unfortunately, Enrique couldn't find me. As you know, we had so many tents up there. He had no idea where I was when we had that incredible event in Mount Shasta.
Yeah, and it's pitch black, and that's what people don't realize. When you're in the forest, they say, "Oh, you can do this and that, whatever." No, you're going to kill yourself if you walk around in a forest because I mean, there's potholes and you can't see your hand in front of your face. It's so dark.
Yeah, and I just wish that he would have found me, because I had all the equipment just sitting right there, ready to go, because I'm always prepared just in case.
Let me ask you a question. I asked, and I'll bring this up later. I asked Sid Goldberg at Gaia about this. How many photographs do you think you've taken in your life, and what do you think about orbs? Because people keep saying, "Oh, you got to bring in some experts, some photographic experts. This is dust. It's whatever."
Well, I only started this in 2015, so I'm fairly new to contact work. Prior to that, I was very clueless when it came to these anomalies. So it's only been since 2015, and probably my photograph abilities are the luck that I've had was probably commencing in 2016. So it's been about 4 years. Photographs in the thousands. I probably have only gone through a small percentage of them because it's very, very time consuming to go through every photograph, because you'll be amazed at what the photograph reveals. If you start, pixel peeping and looking at it, it's amazing what you can pick up, and then you can blow that up. Obviously, that takes an enormous amount of time. Videos is probably equivalent. And the videos, as you know, trying to analyze a video is so time consuming. So I would probably say maybe 5 to 10% of my videos have been analyzed. The rest have not.
Okay, and your videos and the photographs you're taking, are these connected to CE5 work?
All of them, yes, absolutely.
Okay, because there seems to be that connection that, that may have something that we're manifesting, or that they seem to appear in these events where people are meditating and doing stuff like that.
That is correct. Yeah, and the more you're experienced with it and the more time you put into it, the more it manifests. 2 days ago, just a friend and I went to the woods near my house, to our local CE5 site, and did our own little meditation, and we're out there for about 4 hours. And we had the most incredible experience. Not only did we have aerial craft, but we also had ground lights around us. It was really amazing. I did capture some on video, which is great, but I haven't gone through all the video. I've had very raw footage of that. I couldn't see, you could sense something. There was a mist, I don't know, maybe about 6 inches from the ground, almost in the shape of a disc, maybe 20 yards from us.
Wow.
And you could sense the energy. And I kept looking through my camera. I said, wow, this is crazy. I'm looking all around because it's a mowed soccer field area. And there's only one area of a mist. And I'm thinking, well, if mist is coming in, you should be able to see it in multiple locations, but it was just centered there. And it had an energy field to it. So I was just videotaping, looking at it, and said, well, this is amazing. So I decided to walk to it. So I left the camera on, which I normally don't do when I'm, when I'm not manning the camera. So I left it on and I walked towards the mist, and I sensed energy. I looked around, and my friend was analyzing another area, so he was a little farther away. I didn't stay long enough. I wish I would have. And then I came back and, took my camera and looked around, and then pointed up in the sky, and we had a lot of anomalies in the sky. But when I brought it home and started analyzing, there were these little lights in front, around me, and in the ground. They would just do a quick flash. They'd flash in and flash out, and they were blue and white. Absolutely amazing. I didn't see with the naked eye. You can sense it, but I couldn't see with the naked eye. The camera picked it up.
Were you able to photograph the mist? Because a lot of what you'll see, I'm going to show some mist ones today, that when I talk to people with huge orb collections, they eventually will all come to me and say, oh, I got this one with this mist thing. And they believe that they see faces in them, and that it's almost like the thing is manifesting out of some sort of vertical mist, not like a fog on the ground, but a vertical type mist.
Right. So, and I'll show that picture of the, what I call the force field that we did in Big Arb that Jeff took, which is an amazing photograph.
Okay.
Because
what are we looking at here?
Oh, okay. So orbs. We went 2 summers ago out in the woods and meditated, and we did a woods walk. This is a very extensive park in near our house, about 45 minutes away. So we decided to go there with a gentleman, a good friend of mine now, that started our CE5 group, that goes out there and makes contact with little fairies and all these anomalous entities. So we went out there and we all just started taking pictures, because don't worry, the orbs will appear and the fairies will appear. Okay. And we got into it, and sure enough, one picture, and all of a sudden we have, as you can see, orbs all over here. What they are, I actually have no idea. It could be interdimensional beings. It could be spirits. I really don't know. And I'll just keep going here. So here's another one up by the tree.
Wow. And you don't see this, you see it later or on the camera?
No, not at all. I didn't see it. Now, you can sense things.
Okay, yeah.
You're always challenging what you're, am I really sensing this?
Yeah.
But now, once you tune in, it's really strong. You know something's happening. So that's when I immediately listen to that intuition and point the camera in that direction. And it's mostly in the sky, because because the sky is, you look and it's 360 degrees, and how do you capture this? Well, something tells you look in this direction,
Yeah,
go close to the Big Dipper or where have you. Anyway, so here's a couple more. And this is Kimberly, who's also part of our local CE5 team here. And she was meditating and getting some energy from the tree. And you can see this orb right here, and also one here. And it's actually multiple ones here, but this one's pretty amazing. Let me see if I can zoom in on it a little bit, because it has such an incredible shape. So there's that orb.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, and there's more here. Here's several of them. And this was multiple cameras. We had 2 regular cameras and 2 iPhones that we were using.
Yeah.
And here again, look how bright this one is by the tree. So we have one here, and then we have multiple ones here. There's a little light source here. We don't know what it is, but these little lights are very common when we're doing contact work.
Yeah.
Now, in this particular scene here, we weren't really doing contact work. We weren't following the CE5 protocols. We were just meditating and being in that mindset to experience something.
Yeah.
And then here we are, closing our eyes, feeling the energy. And as you can see, this is my friend John. There's a big orb right over his shoulder. He is very sensitive. He can feel being touched all the time, and he can see things that I can't see or other people in our group can't see. And this is that orb right behind him.
Wow.
And here's another one, very prominent right in front of us. I was busy with my camera here. He was busy with his phone. And here's an orb right in front of us. Okay, that's all I have for orbs that I was able to find. I was in Joshua Tree, Contact in the Desert, 3 years ago, and there was some energy field in front of us. We were actually doing CE5, and I captured this picture, and it's really amazing because it was pitch black, late at night. I'm going to guess it's probably between 11 and midnight.
Yeah.
And I capture this, which looks like an angel. And what's fascinating is that this is actually there because there's lens flare, and can you see the replica here and here?
Oh yeah.
So you see, so there's a lens flare of something here. I mean, it almost looks like an angel with wings.
I got one of those from 1976. I can show you on an
Really?
8 millimeter. I was filming on an orb from maybe 50 feet away, and when I didn't process it for 35 years, and when I processed it, I called it like an angel without a head, and it appeared 3 or 4 times. It was kind of weird.
Amazing. I didn't catch it till after I got home, maybe a week later, when I started going through the film and saw this, and I just could not explain it. I remember specifically what we were doing there, and there was nothing, just an energy. I could feel an energy in front of me, and I just took the camera and took a picture of it.
A lot of the orb people, when they show me, they'll call this elementals. Like I'll ask them, have you caught elementals? And a lot of them have caught this kind of thing on film.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not that experienced with the orb pictures and this type of thing, because I focus a lot on the sky, and obviously ground contact is intense, or actually more intense than that. And this last event, when I saw what I was able to capture, I'm going to start focusing a little bit more on not just experiencing internally what's happening in the ground, but actually videotaping and taking more pictures. Yeah,
because you always have that on the ground. You have the light phenomena that, because in August when we were up at Mount Shasta, you guys are up on the mountain there, and that's what Jeff was reporting, these lights on the ground, that when the fog started, the mist, the smoke started to swirl, and he saw these different lights. So that's what you seem to run into, is this, there's a light phenomena, almost like it's, rather than an alien, a lot of times it'll be a light that appears or something like that.
That is correct. Yeah. It usually manifests with like a mist, a little fog.
Yeah.
And then you start seeing these little lights. And we started seeing the lights actually doing meditation. I could see them. Yeah, I'm looking at the group. We're sitting down, but my eye is catching these little flickering lights above us. I call them like wispies. They fly really quick above your head, almost like a shooting star, but maybe 20 feet up in the air, bright and very fast. And that's how it starts with me. I start seeing these little wispies, and I know that something's going on.
Wow. Okay,
this picture, I can't take credit. This is something that Jeff took, and I wanted to talk to him about it, but unfortunately he left. This is in 2016, no, 2015, Joshua Tree, one of the Dr. Greer expeditions. This was late at night, probably close to a mile away, pitch black. And Jeremy, my friend from New Zealand, told Jeff that he sent something in that direction and to take pictures. And he took a picture. And what's fascinating, there's actually 3 humanoids. It's really, this picture is not a good picture. I actually have a higher resolution photo that I couldn't find today, but there's 3 entities. I think it's one here, and one here standing up. The higher resolution photo will show you that, but it's absolutely fascinating. And then you have this white area, which could be a portal or a craft that they were in proximity to. And we went back the following year in 2016 to this specific spot. And we took our tri-field meters there and got in the same position these supposedly ETs are in. And our tri-field meter went absolutely intense. We kept getting these signals going, meow, 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 and we're asking questions and got an incredible response. Keep in mind that when we walked up there, the tri-field meters was absolutely quiet. It's when we started interacting that we started getting all these electromagnetic activity on it.
Wow. One thing to sort of point out here, and I remember a story Stephen Greer told, a lot of people believe that the orbs or these things are the way the being moves around and that they will come out of the orb or whatever it is. Is it, do you remember the story Stephen was talking about when Sherry Adamak died and they were doing that meditation? He talked about the blue ball of light that came in the room and this alien appeared out of the ball of light?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And from my understanding is that when they're shifting out of that space-time, they're not quite manifested. It might look like a small orb and it could be a massive shift. It's just that it hasn't really manifested into this 3D. Yeah. So you might be seeing something the size of an orb that could be the size of an aircraft carrier.
Exactly.
It's just shifted enough off of our plane.
And 20 years ago, you would have been thought crazy, but now a lot of people talk about the same thing, that's highly possible.
Hey, Grant.
That is correct.
Go ahead.
I just want to interject regarding that. It's not just contained within the orb. It's actually outside of the orb as well, which you'll see in some of my stuff.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead, Marcel.
All right. Another one. This is also Joshua Tree, pitch black. I sent something in that direction, and I started taking pictures because through my camera I could also see this light source. I have no idea what this is, but there was nobody out there. There's no campers. It's in maybe a half mile from the group. We were doing meditation, and all of a sudden we started getting this activity, and that's that picture. And there's a couple of those. So here's another one. You can see how bright this light source is. It's actually lighting up the rock behind it, both of these rocks. But it's very intense right here in the center. Wow. And there's something else on this side as well.
And this comes after a meditation or like a CE5 protocol?
Yeah, this was probably during our break after maybe an hour and a half of sitting in a circle and meditating.
Okay.
Another one that I caught that same evening of an orb up there, and this, I think this was the very first orb photograph that I took. Okay. I had no idea it was there until I started going through the pictures. Another one at the same location. This is really interesting because it's the shape of a Merkaba. It's got structure to it. There's actually right angles, which is really fascinating. Yeah. And again, this was thanks to my friend Jeremy, who says, Marcel, take your, and I think I used my iPhone, take your, because we were on break moving around. He said, there's something up here, take a picture, just start photographing above this bush. And I did, and was able to capture this.
Wow.
This is fascinating. Right now it's about, I think it was 9:20 at night. This is first week in April here in Michigan, and it was dark. It was, the sun just went down and it was dark, but I had my ISO set up and my camera can take pictures like it's almost daylight, so you can see this. And we were starting our meditation and everybody was just kind of moving around, getting ready to sit down. And I always just start taking pictures just to catch the group off guard. But what's fascinating is 3 of our tri-field meters were going crazy in unison. We kept getting the same readings. They were just off the scale, back and forth, off the scale. So I set my camera on the tripod and I just took a picture of the group I was going to do one group shot before we sat down to get into our full meditation, and I picked this up right here.
Yeah.
What's fascinating is there's no roads back there. It's difficult to see the dimension here, but behind this is probably 200 yards of just field before we hit the trees. There's no pathways or anything there. And this orb with this intense light, I was able to capture. And what's amazing is that Dan here, part of our group, you can see that it's actually illuminating the back of his shoulder.
Oh yeah.
So it's not a flare from the camera. Now, obviously, none of us use flash when we're doing these type of photographies. And there's a small one over here as well. But this one was absolutely intense. You could sense things, and our tri-field meters were going crazy, but I did not see this when I took the picture. But this is part of our local CE5 team.
The technology is getting pretty good. You're using tri-field meters, and you're also familiar. You were telling me that people are getting radio stuff. That the technology is starting to get pretty good in terms of picking up whatever.
Yeah, the communication via radios is really intense right now, because when I went out 2 nights ago, where with my friend and had the experience on the ground, normally I send a message, whether it's a text message converted to audio or Morse code on my radio. The last month or so, I've been using just telepathy. So I take my radio and I transmit through thought. And when we pulled into the parking lot and I left the vehicle, I spent about a minute and a half sending a telepathic signal to our star family.
Yep.
And it took about 3 minutes where all of a sudden, boom, my radio locked in. I started getting messages right away. I started getting a lot of activity in the radio.
Wow.
Which I knew that they were there, and I knew that we were going to have an event that evening. If I might be able to play a little bit of that after this if we have any time.
Okay.
This is in Borrego Springs, California, at a Greer expedition. We had activity at our zenith, and it was really difficult to videotape that. But several people in the group kept seeing something. I thought it was a moving star, and I thought that's just an optical thing. I can see the star zigzagging, but it was super, super high in the atmosphere. And finally, one of the guys saying, it's moving. So I pointed my camera, and I had it on record, and I actually have the video of this. And this thing just looped around, and it kind of zigzagged, which was absolutely fantastic. I've never seen anything move in that direction. Now, the argument, a lot of people say, oh, you caught a bug or so on, but it wasn't a bug because we all witnessed it super high in the atmosphere with the naked eye. Yeah. There was probably half the group in there that were seeing it super high in the atmosphere.
Yeah. Wow.
This was in Big Arbor, Wisconsin, when we had that incredible event last year. We had communication with this craft, and it flashed us 68 times that evening. That was the last evening when we actually had ground contact, and we had communication, a channeled communication via one of the people in our group, which was fantastic. But as I was videotaping this one, and I also took a picture, and the picture was perfect timing, was able to get the flash from this craft.
The interesting, you said 68 times, because people will bring up this satellite. I can't remember the name of the satellite is, but for people, I looked up that because they were claiming we saw that at Mount Shasta, because we saw 7 or 8 flashes. You had 60 some, and the satellite they're talking about only flashes one time, and you can actually, it's on a chart. You can actually tell when it's going to flash.
Oh yeah, and we also validate this when we with our satellite apps, because it's like 2 nights ago when we started the event, we had this incredible craft coming in, and it looked like the ISS. And sure enough, I grabbed my app, and it was the ISS. So we just got to validate to make sure it's not a known satellite or the ISS. And when it's not there, and you have it either slow down or flash you, then it's something that's anomalous that's occurring.
Yeah, and people don't realize that when you have these CE5 events, you guys have a lot of equipment out there. I remember the one time at Shasta in 2017. I mean, you have all these satellite apps, and all the people have all these high-tech cameras, and there's a drone flying around, and it's like unbelievable. It's just tremendous technology out there these days.
Yeah, it's just so you can, validate what's happening. The last thing if you want to get people if you want to entice people to get into this movement and so on, you don't want to be recording satellites and saying, claiming they are ET craft and so on. So we try to validate what we're photographing or videotaping.
Fantastic stuff.
This was in Roswell, New Mexico in September. We had at our zenith, this craft kept flying. It kept coming in from high in the atmosphere, coming down. See the little tail on it? And this, I have the actual video of this. I just was able to do a screenshot to share with you guys, but it came by 5 times. And then we have flash bulbs all around here, this Orion's belt, for probably a 20-minute period, blue and white flash bulbs flashing all around this craft.
Wow.
This is something that Linda Martouche took a picture of, and unfortunately it's very difficult to see, but we had what we thought was a shooting star at a Greer expedition. This was Joshua Tree in 2018, or was it 2019? No, it was 2018. And what happened is this shooting star came by and everybody said, whoa, whoa, shooting star. And I kept looking at it because I had my camera and I'm like, well, that's really odd because it was leaving like a smoke trail. And then the smoke, and all of a sudden it started bending. And I'm like, well, this is really weird. And what happened is it formed the shape of that religious fish. It's really difficult to see here, but with the infrared one, you can see it. It's a fish.
Yeah.
So after a while, everyone said, hey, it's making a shape. And we sat there and watched this for probably about 10, 15 minutes. This alleged shooting star made this figure of a fish there. And what's fascinating is once this occurred, it was like, look up here, because we had flash bulbs all around this location for the next 3 nights within close proximity to this. And that's why when there's a shooting star that I'm recording that I see, it's almost like they're taking your attention, or they're putting your attention in a certain location. As soon as I see that, I know something's going to happen. So I point my camera in that direction, and we usually have a lot of activity. I would say almost 100% of the time, if a shooting star comes and you point in that direction, there's something going on. And this was one occasion here. But if I can find a better picture, I'll put that up. Obviously, everyone has seen this. This was the Vero Beach twin ships that appeared to us at 9:10 at night in the Atlantic Ocean in 2015. This is what got me started down the rabbit hole, so to speak, is these 2 incredible crafts that came in. And see if I can zoom in a little bit more on this. What's interesting here is, and I'm going to do a full analysis of this. I don't think it was properly analyzed. There's actually other supporting craft. If you can see my mouse moving here, there's a craft over here, there's a craft over here. And these are just JPEGs, but if I get the original ones, there's actually crafts above both of these lights. And I have the video on this one as well.
Wow.
Okay, and I'll move on. Oh, this was amazing. This was last year in Rose Valley, California in June, right after the event in Wisconsin. It was about, I can't remember if it was 12:30 or close to 1 a.m. Our radios were going absolutely crazy at this point in time. And one of our guys who's a pilot said, hey, something just came down. And this is about a mile from us. This red disc appeared on the boulder here. It's about a mile. There's no roads or anything there. And I got the whole video of this. Oops, sorry. Let me get back to it. This is fairly large. I'm estimating it's probably 75 feet from here to here.
Okay.
But you can see, and it was very difficult. I had my ISO all the way up, and I don't know what it goes up to, 200,000 ISO or something. And so it's very grainy, but you can see that whatever light source it's emitting, it's actually illuminating the rock next to it. You can see the red there.
Yeah.
And so you get a perspective. This is a daytime photo. I zoomed in on the rock, and this is what we were witnessing, about this size, and this is what it was illuminating.
Yeah. Wow.
Contact in the desert. We were doing C5 right down here, and we were scoping this out in the daytime, looking for a place close to the house because we were a little tired from that day, and we didn't want to drive all the way out to the park in Joshua Tree. So I took the car and I scanned this whole area with my camera and started taking pictures saying, hey, this is where we're going to hold our event. And then I capture this, what appears to be like a flying disc over here. And what's fascinating is that evening when we had our CE5, one of the guys that I know who was at the Contact in the desert saw an actual white craft above our house here where we're doing our CE5 event, and called me and said, there's something where you guys are at. And it was the same day there. Wow. This is just a picture of Borrego Springs Greer event. This is a helicopter here chasing a square ET craft. I have the video and I can show that if we have time, but I actually have the video of this. What's fascinating, this had no blinkers, nothing. It was through the Gen 3 military grade binoculars. You can see it was a kind of a rectangle or a square, and this chopper was just following it, whether it was escorting it or chasing it, we have no idea. This is in the middle of nowhere, very low to the ground, and probably I'm going to say between 3/4 to a mile away from the group.
That's another one that's so common with the helicopter and the UFO, and it's like a helicopter doesn't move very fast, so you wonder what's going on. Is it actually a helicopter, or is this just like a show? Because
well,
it's very strange
that's a good
to find
point.
a helicopter and a UFO in the same photo. There's just another one. I've got a pile of these things.
Right. Again, Joshua Tree, I think this was 2016. This picture here is what most people were seeing through their regular cameras. One of the gentlemen who was with us had a full spectrum camera that like Jeff has now, that with a it was modified with a I forget what the millimeter lens on this thing was, and basically captured this right here. These two arms are actually these white, we thought they were two craft, and it's actually one massive gigantic craft. I don't have all the photos here because I thought we were just going to do orbs, but yeah. These two arms, the frame before this, both arms were up, and then the arm went down, and then the craft just went straight up into deep space. Wow. But what you can see here, the picture to the left where we're seeing the two arms, these are what appears to be escort ships. They were in proximity to this. But this is what most people captured through their regular cameras, and this is the picture, the image captured through the full spectrum camera. Wow. And then the last photo is, and I think you've seen this, is what Jeff Sell took when we were in Big Arb, when we had that massive event on that last day. Is we could sense the mist in a force field. We could see, several in the group could see a mist behind us, and you could sense just incredible energy. And he used his full spectrum camera and was able to get this wall, that has to be 12, maybe 14 feet tall, and then what appears to be a round shaped disc down here in the bottom.
Wow, fascinating stuff. You and I'll have to do another presentation. If you can get some of your videos and stuff, because you did one for us before, but just with you, we'll look at some of your photos and your videos again if you once you've done some analysis on them, the stuff that you recently got.
Sure. And yeah, and I have a ton of videos now, and I've gone through a good portion, started cleaning them up. I mean, there's a mountain of work to go through, but there's some really good stuff that I can share with you. A lot of the stuff that I showed you today, there's video behind it as well.
You didn't let me down. You've always got some good stuff, and that's what people got to realize. There's some people out there photographing in the UFO field who aren't idiots. They've got some pretty good stuff, and they know what they're doing. Beautiful. Okay, let's go to the PowerPoint here, and we're going to bring up, let's see, share. This is my screen here. This is orbs 2. Get out of here. Okay. You can see the screen, orbs 2.
Yep.
Okay. So this is, we've got some new guests today, and I thank Marcel and Jeff for doing the original one. They were in a little bit later, but they may be able to tune in on some of this stuff we're going to talk about here. This is Maureen Seberg, who's at Psychology Today. She does a column there. She wrote the book Struck by Genius. Jason Paget, the savant, who has the injury and then is suddenly able to do all sorts of mathematical stuff. She took this photo. She sent it to a friend of mine, Katerina. I don't think she even knew that it was, she didn't say anything about orbs. She just was trying to get, there's a story behind her getting this bird. This only happened a little while ago. But the interesting thing is that the orb that looks like an orb is actually on the other side of the bird. So people will say orbs are things very close to the camera. And this sort of, it's almost like the photograph was given to say, no, that's not really true, because the orb definitely appears to be on the other side of the bird. This is Laura. We just did an interview. It'll be going on Ketchledge. She's had a farm in Kentucky. She had 2 near-death experiences and suddenly started having all sorts of orbs appearing around her and all sorts of paranormal phenomena, almost the same as you would have at a CE5 event, or people who claim the abduction experience, precognitive, seeing orbs, seeing dead people, turning off, lights turn off when she's there, draining batteries, the same story. And yet her background is basically near-death experience. She had this one that she talks about, or she has quite a few orb experiences. She has these appearing in the room, and she had the one that actually matches an event that that Linda Howe told Desta, and Desta actually filmed it. We have it, I think it's on the YouTube channel with Linda Howe, where Linda Howe's cat dies, and it comes back in this orb type thing to Linda. And Linda actually tries to grab the thing. She can see the cat inside this portal orb type thing and tries to grab it. Well, Laura tells exactly the same story about her cat coming back. And she said the event came in an orb, and she climbed up on a chair and was looking in this orb thing. And she said the cat was there for, I think, 5 to 6 minutes before it finally faded away. And this is the middle of the night. So you get these orbs that cross the boundary. So Desta and I are just releasing this book called Contact Modalities. And what we say is that you're going to find these orb phenomena, paranormal phenomena, people draining batteries across all sorts of modalities. It's almost like it's the same modality. It's just taking a different mask, whether they're ETs or whether they're dead people or whether they're spirit guides or whatever they are. You see this parallel across all these different modalities. So now we're going to bring up Alfred Vacanti. We had a little bit of his stuff. Alfred is from, I'll let you introduce yourself. You're from Omaha, Nebraska, and you're not a UFO guy. You're a meditation guy. So let me turn off my screen here and welcome Alfred. And you can jump in here and explain who you are. And then let's go through your orb stuff. You've got a lot of really interesting orb stuff, but it's happening in a meditation room. It's not happening outside. And you show a lot of the stuff that's parallels what other people are talking about in other modalities, especially like the mist, the orbs, that sort of stuff. So go ahead and introduce who you are, and let's go through your material.
Well, I'm Alfred from Omaha, live in Omaha, Nebraska. But Grant, I am in the ET aspect of it. I started when I was 8 years old. I had my first contact.
Okay. So why do you do the meditation thing then? You have a big meditation room. Why did you go to that route rather than going out and trying to film UFOs in the sky like Marcel and Jeffrey?
I do CE5. Outside.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Oh yeah, I have plenty of footage with that's how it actually started. I was doing a CE5 meditation in 2012 in my backyard, and a ship came out from the north, and I thought, okay, this works. So I put a group together, and we went out to this field and started from 2013 to today. We have documentation of footage of ships and all of that. So that's part of it. But what precipitated the events in my home was in 2016, early 2017. After a meditation in my home, me and a colleague of mine that does the CE5 work did a deep meditation, and we were coming outside to the side of my house, and a ship had flown over us 3 times. And as it was leaving, it projected this funnel shaped, it was almost like an amber fire color funnel, about 20 feet long, 3 foot in diameter, one end coming to a point, and it spiraled into my home. And the next morning, I got up and I looked to my friend and said, "Wow, that was amazing." And then the ship just had taken off, and there was no marks or anything on my wall on my house. But the next morning, I got up and somebody was in my home with me and was coming upstairs, and from the peripheral, they could see this tall being, about 8 feet tall, standing there, and they looked over at it, and it startled the being, and the being put its left hand up to its chest and ran into the wall and was gone.
Oh.
So that's when I got this. I went to bed that night and just had this feeling that I needed to start filming inside my home. Something had told me that. So that's when all that started.
Okay, so for people, again, like a lot of people think that orb people are just like little dumb people who taking 5 photographs and think they're seeing something in its dust. How much photographing have you done? You're one of these guys who's done a lot of photographing.
6 years worth. so
A lot of stuff, yeah.
So quite a bit of footage, but yeah, and it's not just by me that sees it. I see a lot of people see it, but what's happened is that when you're dealing in this etheric realm or this astral realm, what we all need to understand is that, especially in the astral, that the beings obviously have the intellect and the capacity and technology to interface in the astral realm where some of us go, because I've had a near-death experience as well. So for some reason, there's this crossover with the extraterrestrial beings, with higher dimensional beings, spirit guides, that all manifest and interact in this realm. And for some reason, they seem to come to me. And so it's quite interesting, because I've had people see orbs in my house with their eyes, not just through a camera. So I get both. It's a little bit of everything that happens in my home.
And when was your near-death experience? Because that seems to be, when we write the book Contact Modalities, we talk about this trauma event, that people who've had trauma events like near-death experiences are suddenly like Laura, who are suddenly woken up and like they become like a magnet for paranormal phenomena.
Yeah, well, I had my first experience at the age of 8, but then I had a near-death in '96, and I really didn't get into figuring out what the purpose was of why I was here until 2012. It really hit 2011, 2012.
Okay, so let's look at some of your photos. Let's go. You've got a lot of stuff, and you've got some pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah, and what I did was I did some video, short clips, 30 seconds roughly, and then there's some pictures, and there's pictures of orbs, and then there's definitions of pictures of beings. So there's a correlation with the videos and orbs and the beings.
Yep, go ahead. Sure.
And it's not, what people need to understand too, is that it's not just contained within the energy field of that orb, but it's also around the orb, because it acts as an A-port or an access point for that energy to manifest into a shift into frequencies that allow these beings to interact in a higher level that the camera picks up, but we don't physically see with our eyes. So.
Are you getting any messages in terms of them explaining to you what's going on?
Yeah, I'll tell you a quick story. My girlfriend lives on the West Coast, and she had a regression a while back, recently actually, and 2 nights before the regression, or 2 days before the regression, I did a meditation, and during the meditation, I'm hearing this Native American voice, and I'm repeating it on the video, and I sent it to her. And in her regression, she had a regression that she lived as a Native American, and during this time period, she couldn't speak, but we were together. And so I'm sending her this footage 2 days after she had she didn't tell me this until after I sent her the footage about this interaction. So it's interesting, and since we've been connected, well, we have for a long time, but we've been seeing, as you'll see in this footage, this blue orb's been following us around, and we live in two separate parts of the country.
Yeah.
So she's been seeing this orb for the last 4 months that's been following her around, and it's in my house as well. And I'll show you this.
Wow.
Yeah, and also it's not just my home. I've been traveling a lot. So in Phoenix, you'll see it. You'll see it in California. So there's different areas of the country. It's just with me is more or less. It doesn't matter where you're at.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay, take over the screen and let's see what you've got here.
All right.
I've seen it. It's pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm in shared. Where do I go to shared?
Bottom in the middle of blue little share screen and folder in the middle there. There you go.
Okay. Well, where's my stuff at? That's not it. Sure. Where's my screen? Desktop. Your screen share. Yeah. Okay.
You could probably collapse by hitting that yellow button on the upper left-hand corner so you can see the rest of it.
Got it. Okay. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Yep.
And you probably want to do the same thing with your email.
Yeah. Okay. Please. Here's my screen. Actually, I need to move you guys a little bit. Okay. So this is a Zendra, and Zendra, I mean, to me it was. This is in my room, in my meditation room. I think I sent Grant a picture of it, and he told me to reach out to somebody else and who has experienced it, and I have reached out to Enrique Grant, and
You have to open it up. I don't see it.
well, I'm going to show you the
Okay.
first. I just wanted to give you a segue.
Yeah. Or a portal. People will call it a portal or Zendra. Or
Yeah, and I was actually told while this was happening to walk through it, and as I got up, it just disappeared.
Wow.
So here's the. Let me enlarge it. This is about as big as it's going to get. Let's see.
So this is your meditation room here.
Now this is that vapor you'll see.
Yeah, here's this smoke vapor mist stuff. Yeah.
And then you'll see the Zender start to form. You see that?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So you could feel energy going through you. So here's just a still of that. Right?
And you're just using a cell phone camera, correct?
Yeah, on this, but I also have a camera that I use too. But this is the dome, and it starts small and it gets to about this height, and then I hear the message just walk through. And as I got up to start to walk, it just dissipated, and there was nothing there when I got to the middle of it.
Oh.
This is coherent energy. This is pretty interesting. So this is just a quick. And if you look on the sides of this kind of odd oval-shaped wobbly orb, it's almost like a plasma that's emanating from the sides of it, from each side of it. You'll see it here. It'll come from this area. There it is. And you see the sides? It looks like it's like vibrating almost.
Yeah.
Wow.
Replay that again.
You want to play it again?
Yeah, flip that a couple times.
Okay. Yeah, so something is shifting, and I don't know if it's shifting in and out of dimensional or frequency, but you can see on the side where it does that. I'll see if I could. Let's see. It's on the sides here. It does it. Let me play it again. Well, you can see as I roll back.
Yeah.
You can see the sides where I don't know. It's just awfully. And you could feel it. You could feel the energy just come to you because it's coming directly towards me.
There's even a reflection off the wall there. You can see as you go back, it reflects off the wall.
Let's see.
If you go back, as it goes back farther. Yeah. Okay, watch the left wall there at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reflects off the wall.
Right there. I never noticed that before. Yeah. Okay. So then we'll go to multi-orbs. This is I think this is, let me see which one this is. Oh, this is a short one. There's one I'm going to show you that's just fascinating. It's like it's snowing in the room.
It's pretty amazing. What do you think of that, Marcel?
Wow, mind blowing.
That one coming right
Yeah.
at me. You see that one? This one at the end, it was like just telling me, okay, and I'll show it again.
Come right at the camera, yeah.
Yeah, it comes right at the, very coherent. So what I do is I do particular modalities and protocols for different types of contact with different beings that I've
Okay.
interacted with, and I'll show you some of the beings when we're done with the videos. So there's specific protocols that I've learned to do with these beings, and it's not just ET, but they're interdimensional and intradimensional beings as well. I think we lost Grant for a minute, but this next one I think you would enjoy to see.
Hey, Alfred, while he's doing that, are you just using a phone for the camera on these last three?
What you're seeing is just a phone, but I have infrared cameras, I have night vision, and I have a Canon 35 millimeter camera as well. So I
Do you
use
find
meters too. What's that?
Do you find that the phone that you're using captures more than your sophisticated equipment?
It just depends. Out in the field, we actually capture much more with the sophisticated stuff. But in my home, it's the phone. Because
Okay.
I'll set up 3 cameras in my home, and the only thing that captures it is the phone, which is interesting. Yeah. There you are, Grant. Grant likes this one. I'll show this one to you here. Grant, you know what this one is. Now, Stephen Greer had a on his website disclosure. He's got a picture of this entity that comes in, and I don't know what year it was, maybe 09, 010. They're out in the field. It's right next to a puja table, and I have a puja table in my meditation room. So this is the same design, same entity, and I feel this electrical charge go through my body, and they call it pyophilia, where the hair on your body just stands up. It's amazing, and here it is. And this is my bedroom. I have a green filter I put over it. There it is.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
So you can see, I'll back it up. So this is almost identical to what Stephen Greer has. It looks just like that.
Yeah.
Next to the puja table, but it's blue.
What's the idea behind the puja table? What's that all about for people who don't know?
Wow.
It's well, I'm sure Marcel knows. It's a Vedic Hindu Sanskrit form of meditation. I mean, it's one of the oldest religions in the world. So, and a lot of my audio, or some of my audio, the beings, when they speak to us in this Vedic Hindi kind of language, which is really interesting. So I've learned to use that as part of my modality and part of my meditation when I make contact with specific beings.
It's also a form of gratitude when you perform the puja ceremony. It's a gratitude for the enlightened beings from the past, present, and also from the future.
Yeah,
and appreciation.
It's a ceremonial thing, and I have water. The elements are there, the elementals, the salt, water, earth. So it's a gratitude, form of gratitude. This one is I'm interacting with some beings here, just energy forming. You'll see there. This here. Grant, you've seen this one before. Now, he actually said he was from the Andromeda galaxy after this event happened. After I did a meditation, went back, he said where he was from. So, oops.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, the actual footage is like 3 minutes long. Grant, you've seen it, I think. But yeah. Let's see here. I need to see. Okay, so here's just a still of that entity that came in through that video.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it really is. It's almost like right here, there's this orb up here, and then there's different orbs. And I'll show you in this footage here of this band of orbs that are coherently together, connected. Here's the picture of it right here. Let me blow it up. So you can see this. It's almost like chakras inside this energy light. And here's a coherent one here. And here's my puja set up here with my singing bowls. And then I'll show you the video that was from that. Let me find it here.
How many of those have you captured? Because we're going to show some of those later on. Those almost look like beams of light, but they're made up of orbs.
Bazillion.
Wow. You have to send me some of those because you'll see a bunch. I'm going to show some later on.
I think this is here it is.
Whoa.
I'm going to stop it at the end. You'll see it. It becomes real transparent. You can see the actual orbs in tandem.
Wow.
And this was after a specific contact request. Let me see if I can get it. Trying to get it back where are you? So you see the orbs here?
Yeah.
It's like they're linked together. I think it comes back right.
Wow.
But I like where it becomes real transparent. You can actually see the orbs contained within that rod of energy. This is in California. I just got back and I want to show you this. This is a video, if I can find it. I know I have it together. Okay. So I was with my girlfriend, and we did a meditation, a mantra. And this is in the hotel room. And then I'll show you the face that appeared after this. You'll see it. There's the orb. See it? And then this is what was in the orb. Now you can see, if you look, this is a side profile of the being.
Yeah.
His eyes right here. He's looking down. Here's his chin. The neck.
Oh yeah.
You have to look at it. You can see him, the side view of him.
And what kind of being is that?
Extraterrestrial being. They didn't.
He didn't identify himself. Okay.
No, didn't identify. No.
Wow.
So this is what I call the blue orbs. This was in Arizona. The moon was full, and this orb was dancing around. We're trying to catch it on our phones. And both my girlfriend and I were seeing this. And this is another picture of it zigzagging as it's moving.
Yeah.
And this is another picture of it that she took.
Wow.
She was facing the dirt. She's walking. And then this is a picture. We were on the beach walking, and there it just appeared. See right here.
Oh yeah.
And this is in my meditation. Yeah, this is my bedroom. So it has the same color.
Yeah.
This is in my meditation room.
Wow.
And this, I blew this up. I mean, we looked inside the orb. It almost looked like an old man or something. If you outlined it here.
Yeah.
It just looks like somebody's looking right at you. That's a blow up of the of that orb. And then this, just some more blue beings that come in through orbs. His mouth, his eyes, long cranial here.
Wow.
Almost looks like there's something back here too. Another one. And then here's just an orb. This is the bottom of it. This is the top of that same piece. And this is just something that I captured in my room. This is an interesting video. So I was had all the lights off in my meditation room, and I just started shooting. and this occurred. And then I turned the lights on real quick, and then obviously nothing was there. But you'll see this there.
Oh,
Wow.
And I watch it turn the light on. There's nothing there. So
wow. It's almost like it's alive.
yeah, it's moving. This is interesting. I did a meditation. I don't know if you know who Tom Kenyon is. Hawthorns. He's related. You know, he's contacts with the Hawthorns.
No.
Okay. Anyway, so I did a meditation and affirmation to interact with the Hawthorns.
Okay.
They supposedly were a race that existed around the Egyptian times of the Egyptian deity Thoth and Akhenaten. So here's obviously a sphinx, picture of a sphinx. I just want to show you.
Yeah.
Here's how it came in, right here. Okay. And then here's me blowing it up and cleaning it up. You see the similarities?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
So that's, and if you look at hawthorns, they look similar to these beings here.
Wow.
They have flat ears on the side. But yeah, that was a specific meditation that I had done to make contact with those beings. This is strange. I get these pulses of energy that come through. They're like waves almost. And I get the feeling that it's kind of like earth breathing. I did 3 shots of this. You'll see these waves. And then in the third one, this gold band comes through it right here.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. And I don't know what that is. I have no idea. It was only in 1 frame.
Wow.
So, yeah. Sometimes I get symbols. This is a symbol I received. And I do automatic writing. I think I told you, Grant, that I auto write too.
Wow.
But this is a symbol that came in. I have no idea what it is or where it's from. It just popped in.
Wow.
Let's see. I thought there was another video. Let's see if this is it. This is a good plasma, elemental, vapor energy. I think this is it. Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
That's not incense or candle smoke or anything. You'll see the orbs interacting with it.
Yeah.
Now you'll see it really become coherent. Right here.
Wow.
Wow.
It's actually a really long clip. I just took that piece out of it for you. Then you see an orb coming in. See him?
Hey, Alfred, are you seeing them visually, or are you just sensing the energy?
Both. Sometimes, I'd say 80% of it is sense, but when my eyes are closed and I'm in deep meditation, I see them. And
Okay.
then sometimes when I open my eyes, I'll see them only through the peripheral. I won't see them straight on.
But the camera captures the full impact of the sighting.
This is an interesting one I want to show. So I was doing a singing bowl meditation for a group, and somebody was filming. So you see this orb right here, and this relates to when I interjected when Marcel was talking. That I have many pictures of ETs around the orb. So the orb can also act as a point of entrance to kind of create a what I call a time displacement, where different dimensions and frequencies interact. And what I've come to understand is that what we have inside of us is a direct effect to the material matter that is outside of us and around us. And so by knowing that, I've learned how to interact with specific beings and energies. So you see this orb here. Now in the next picture, you'll see a close-up of that orb. This is the orb. My head's over here. When blow this up, you guys see 3 beings looking down at me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna blow up this picture, and I blow this guy up even further. to show you, and you can see, let me move him. That's a blow up of it.
Wow.
That's, you see his head?
Yeah.
There's another one right here, and you can see him. So they're around the orb. So actually that's opening up like an opening from another dimension. The orb acts as an energy field to project those images into that.
So like a portal then.
A portal, yeah, correct, yeah. An apex or whatever you want to call it, but yeah, or an A-port, right. Let me get out of this. So I'll show you some flashes. These are flashes that occurred. This is interesting. So I was just setting up the puja table. I just turned the lights on, and all of a sudden the lights did this, just magnified like that. And I captured it with my camera.
Wow.
Yeah. This is just a blue orb. This is a flash. So I get a lot of flashes, and I know that in this area here, because usually contained within that energy field are the beings themselves. So you can almost make something out right here because it's more dense in this area. But these are flashes that come in. Here's another flash. And this one, you can actually see, it's almost like his head's here and his body starting to form.
Oh yeah.
Projecting from the ceiling.
Yeah.
It shoots down, and this is a still shot of it. I mean, this is from a video, and I just took a still, but you can kind of see it forming right here into something.
Wow. Yeah, it's pretty clear.
Then here's something shooting across my bedroom. It's kind of like that picture, Marcel, that you showed that somebody else shot out at the land somewhere. Here's another picture of just a flash in the room, and I zoomed it in so it's pixelated a little bit, but I want to show the color of it.
Wow.
This is in the meditation room, and you can see in the center this orb flies in, and I'm thinking that looks like a face almost, right?
Yeah.
So then I blew it up. Let me move him over here. I'm going to put him next to this guy. So I blew him up, and this is what came up.
Wow.
Is that next to that?
Wow.
That is that.
Yeah, that's pretty clear.
Looks like a side profile. His chin's awfully angular and straight, and I don't know his eye or something, but you can see it. I mean, he's just floating through the room.
Yeah.
Or he's manifesting and shifting. Then I'll start showing you some faces now. So here's another flash. I came in my bedroom.
Wow.
Let's see. So this is interesting. So here's the orb here, and you guys see this chubby, short little being right here? See his nose and his eyes?
Yep.
He's right behind the orb, and I don't know what's this right here. I don't know what all this is because I'm in the middle of my meditation room. So something is here. And then I'm going to show you some beings now that come through. Here's one that came through. And usually they're attached to what I call a cord or a thread. There's like to their crown chakra or their third eye.
Okay.
There seems to be something that's attached to them for some reason in a lot of the pictures. This is another being that came through. You can see her, I mean, here. And this is the energy that was following her, behind her. She was manifesting through that. And this was in my meditation room. This is a being that was coming in. You can kind of see him partially coming in.
Yeah.
And this is the actual orb here, and here's who's behind it.
Okay.
This is a pretty fascinating. You can actually see this guy.
Yeah.
His mouth, his eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is a female being that came in. She told me her name, but she asked me not to speak it. But you can obviously see her. I mean, she's just standing right in front of me.
Oh. Why the secrecy, do you think?
I don't know. They haven't told me. Here's a gray. He's a tall gray. This guy had to be over 7 feet tall. And I mean, I had to back up the camera. I actually clipped it. You can see his whole body, but his head's tilted. And this is an eye here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
There's actually someone behind him too. If you see here, you'll see another one. There's two of them. Here's another one that came in. Side profile. And here's one that I saw in Phoenix that I shot. You can see he's looking down. Here's his nose. This is, looks like an ear almost.
Yeah.
On his head. And then Grant's seen this one before. This is a fascinating one. This one actually has like coming off of here, emanating from the top of the crown chakra, this being.
Wow.
Let's see what else we have. This is interesting. So this is the actual orb. And I was looking at it, I was going, wait a minute. And then if you look up here, I did a zoom of it, and it's, I call her the hooded lady. You see the face and the hood? So that's the energy, and that's her behind the energy. Which is pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
I mean, I have so much more, but I don't know what else I put on here. Let me see. Oh, I was doing some healing work for a friend of mine who's got to have back surgery. And that's me, and these orbs started flying in over him.
Wow.
I think I did 3 shots of that, and you can see these flashes. He has lower back problems. So I was doing some vibrational work on him, and all that energy came in. So, and here's a picture of an orb being. This is actually, this may sound a little odd if it already hasn't been odd, but this is my girlfriend, us in a previous life. She came to me. I did an astral travel, and she was there, and she came to me in an orb. And this is, you can see her hair, you know, right here, and her face, and she's looking down. So that's her, but she looks different now, but it's the same person. So it's interesting how our souls, you have this soul lineage that follows you, and you have this what they call an energetic sphere that is always around you. And so when you become in tune with that, these past lives and these other dimensions, these other beings and these other realities come through. This is actually a Hathor being right here. This is his face. That's what they look like. If you pull it up, Hathor, Egyptian, you'll see they look a lot like that. Okay. I mean, that's pretty much what I put on here. I think, was there any more? Let me see here. I don't know if this is a new one or not. There was one that was fairly long that I wanted to show. I don't think this is it. Where is it? It might be down here. No, that's not it.
Yeah.
There's one that I ran that's a little longer that I really wanted to show if I can find it, but it's about a minute long. No, that's not it. I might have deleted it by accident, but it's yeah, it's quite amazing. Anyway, that gives you an idea of what I'm seeing, but a lot of it is not just orbs. It's obviously, we know what it is. It's I mean, I've had craft in my let me see if I can pull this up. I think I might be on here, Grant. A spacecraft entered in. Well, I'll show you this one because this has I think this one has a face. This is out at the land. There's a ship here, and it's pixelated because I didn't have night vision going, but you see the face right here?
Yeah.
So these beings are from the Andromedan galaxy, and he came out of the ship, and we lost about 2 hours of time that night. There were 3 of them that came out, but you could see his face. He's in front of the ship. He's blocking part of the ship. I mean, I have all kinds of stuff, but here's one real quick. This one's kind of interesting. So this just gives you an idea of you know, the orb. This is that one that was floating, and this rod came in
Wow.
at the same time.
We'll set up some for orb 3. I'll bring you in for orb 3 if you find that long video. And we'll go to the.
Well, yeah, I've got all kinds. So you just
Yeah.
let me know what you.
Okay.
I think you've seen some of my
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, you've got a lot of stuff. That's what I was pointing out. Okay. Thanks, and we'll bring you in for another session for find some of that other stuff. And that's impressive stuff. Now we're going to go to the girls. We have. Let's see. So turn your share screen off, and I'll go to.
Let me raise it here. I can figure out how to raise it.
Up top there.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Beautiful. Okay. So let me share. And you're going to see some of the stuff is going to sort of parallel what you guys were showing here. Let me go down here. What's going on here? Why are we not moving here? Oh. Aneta, how you doing?
Yes. Hi, Grant.
Good to
Hi,
see you.
guys.
Thank you for
Nice to
coming
see
on.
you.
We're going to do a little bit of your stuff here now. And you've got a lot of stuff. You've got thousands of photographs. You photograph quite often.
Yes.
And
Yes,
you and I
actually,
do
maybe.
a video that people will be able to see. It's maybe an hour and a half long where you go through your stuff.
Yes,
So,
yes. Thank you.
and
I'm
you're
glad being here. Yes, a lot of pictures I have actually.
and you're from Macedonia, right?
Yes, I'm from Macedonia. Yes.
Beautiful. You've got you've got the same sort of things as experiencers where you've got, you know, triangles on your skin and stuff like that. So you are an experiencer, and that's probably why you're having these encounters.
Yes, I guess I am. Oh yeah, that is the last orb.
This is the last one. This is just a couple yesterday or the day before or whatever.
Yes, actually, 2 days ago. And I've sent you, if you go and check to your messenger, I sent you a ship from an hour ago before this meeting. So you
Oh,
can
wow.
check it later.
Wow.
And yes, actually, this is one of the latest pictures I have, and also a video of a ship. And I think this orb is much associated with that ship.
Beautiful. And you get something almost every year, out almost every day, right? You're
Almost every day, during the day, the night, in the room, outside, inside, everywhere.
This is one of the beings. So explain this. You chase this guy, right? After you get the photograph. Explain what's going on here. I showed it last time, but I really didn't know what it was. So explain what's going on here.
Yes, this is the first being I pictured. And actually, I started with doing a C5 protocol, and that night I saw a few orbs around me and just was shooting in my garden in the front yard. And actually, in one certain point while shooting, I just felt I should shoot in some specific direction. And in front of me on the screen, at one moment, I see this being, I saw the head, the arms, and the legs.
Yeah.
And I was shocked, actually. It was a few moments, seconds, I was shocked. I said, what I'm seeing, because I didn't expect to see a being in front of me. Okay, I'm seeing orbs, photographing orbs and everything and ships. But this was amazing, And after the initial shock, I just put up together, calm down. I was pretty shocked. And I wanted to take more pictures of the being. Actually, this being was maybe 1.5 meters in front of me.
Yeah.
This in the back, you see, is a big, giant orb. And this being came in an orb, actually. I understood it later while watching the pictures,
Yeah.
And as I said before, I wanted to take more pictures and started shooting, but I couldn't. I didn't get another one. But I can hear the steps around in the bushes around,
Yeah.
And it was amazing experience, actually. You can see the eye here, maybe. Yes, the eye, one eye. Unfortunately, I'm not capable technically, and I don't have an equipment to make to make a better this picture.
Yeah.
But if you have, maybe be comfortable and maybe we can see the whole face of this being. It was completely peaceful. I think I was invader of the private space of the being because I was chasing this person. It was amazing. Yes, it was amazing. And yes, that night, actually, I was outside for a few hours. It was late at night. It was, I think, maybe 3 years ago. It was 3:45 in the morning. And all this time, I was inside and outside of the house, just recharging the telephone because the batteries were off very quickly.
Wow. So you have
And
that problem
yeah.
when the battery goes down? You have that problem?
Yes, actually, not all the time, but in this particular case, I had. Yeah. Oh yes, that is one pictures of a few pictures of a ship. This ship transformed. It was a big green orb, actually two orbs together.
Yeah.
And certain point, this ship transformed into dots. Unfortunately, yes. Unfortunately, I don't have a specific good camera. This is the cell phone camera, but we still can see. Yes, actually, this is maybe the third or the fourth picture of the transformation.
This is daylight, right?
Daylight, yes. This is the yeah, what was the name? It's not the orb form. It's like a disc form.
Yeah.
Yes, it's near the tree of the house. Yes, yeah. Here you can see it
Wow.
better. Yes, here you can see it better. Yes.
And you
Oh
start to
yeah.
get this, you start to get the smoke, the mist, all this kind of stuff. You've gotten this quite a few photographs of this stuff.
Yes. I was going over to my pictures a few nights ago, and I found it more because I forget what I've got. I've got a lot of pictures.
A lot of
And
photos.
yes, I will send it to you. Yes, this light that comes in a millisecond, maybe, while shooting.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. You feel love. Yes, this is the face. This is the gigantic face of a person. This
Wow.
is the light here and the face. You can see the eyes and nose.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the original one. Yes, the eyes and nose.
Here's
Oh
this
yes.
smoke stuff again. This
A smoke stuff and this thing here, this white thing here that I don't know what it is, and this person here, this person, I don't know. This too, this kind of smoke.
Yeah.
I didn't know until you told me what it was.
I didn't know until a month ago either. I didn't know. I just thought people took the orbs, and then suddenly people start showing this smoke stuff. Oh, by the way, I got this smoke stuff, and
Yeah.
it seems to be related, whatever it is.
Yes. Yeah. This is
You've got inside photos.
Yes, this is inside my room. Photos of orbs. Here you can see it here, here, and here, and here. Yes. This is outside in the front yard. The gigantic green, blue kind of orb.
And you're not using a flash on this, right?
No. This is actually a video, a snapshot of the video.
Wow.
This too.
And you start to get these sort of chains of some of them you'll see it's actual. You can actually see the orb in the sort of the looks like a rod or like a chain of light. But you get a lot of these. Here you have them.
Yes, actually, I don't know what it is. I know it is. This is an orb. I thought it is, or I think it is the flying orb. But I'm not an expert in this field.
Yeah.
I'm just here a few years. It's beautiful, yes. And this is another one. Another one still in the front yard of the house.
As they're showing off for you.
It's just open, have an intention, open your heart, going outside, loving universe, loving all around you, and everybody are coming. Everybody are coming.
You believe love is a key to this whole thing, correct?
Love is yes, is the key, is the force to the creation, to the connection, to everything. Yes, this is all love. I'm just going outside. I'm not even meditating lately. I just think, okay, I need to go to love everything and everybody and, you know, around, and just go. And after that, start to shoot. And I have these pictures like this, you know.
Now you say some of these, there's actually a craft that's sending down a light beam, or is this?
Yeah, sometimes I feel, you know, the very strong electromagnetic field, you
Yeah.
know. Sometimes also my pictures, even I don't have this good camera, are very fuzzy. Sometimes they're clear, sometimes they're fuzzy, and I feel this field around me, you know. Also here you can see this beam of light.
Yeah, coming
I
down.
had, yes, I sent to you this picture of direct beam of light. It was above my head,
Yeah,
above my house.
I'm going to be showing that. You've got a lot of these.
This is perfect.
So a lot of these
Yes,
are sort of at your feet, right? The one resort on your head, but most of them are shone right in front of you and on the ground.
around. Yes, on the ground around me. Yes, but
Here's
yes,
one with
this.
the orb. This one I like. This is a classic.
Yeah. Yes, classic one.
That's where you
Yes.
saw that the other guys were showing this, you know, a string of orbs, and you have the same thing where you have the orb seems to be making up the light. These are
Yes.
pillars of light. Stick with me with this because a lot of these are yours too. When you sent me started to show me these pillars of light, then we have Connie coming up. She's got them, and a bunch of people started sending me these pillars of light, and piles of people have seen them. So I sort of put them all together for today, just so people can see it's not one crazy person taking these photos. These are coming from all around the world, including the latest, the Skinwalker Ranch. I'm going to show you the one they got at Skinwalker Ranch that's on their TV show. So here's this is not yours.
No, no.
I think this
That's
is
mine.
Connie's. Connie, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, this is yours, right?
Right.
And you get this color. We'll show this in a minute. You get the multicolors, almost like when I saw the first one you sent me with the colors, I said, that's the soul. If you read Michael Newton, the idea you start from yellow and it goes up into purple as the
Right.
frequency, and you had these balls of light changing color as they went through this channel. And then you told me you'd been reading Michael Newton, correct? Just
Yeah, I
before
said I think I took that right after I read that book.
yeah. And so you see this thing where you get the ones with the color. There's only a couple of people who have the color in there. This is yours. This is the one that
Yeah.
I said you go from yellow all the way up to purple. That's the Michael Newton soul colors as you go through the
Right.
various levels. And you didn't really see anything. You're just shooting, right?
Yeah, I was just shooting. That's outside my house. And I was just taking pictures.
Fascinating stuff. And you've got a couple of these, and other people will confirm this idea. This is another one you got.
Right.
And this one, who's this? What is this?
Oh, that's my video.
Oh, that's your video. Okay. So this is how it started. You sent this video to Desta, and Desta sent it to me. And then I saw this thing. So you have this orb comes through and then flashes. We'll play it a few times. We'll run this thing and people can take a look at this. I think the orb comes up from the left bottom and then you get this flashing thing go on. It's pretty spectacular. Oh no, it's not there. What happened to the video? Maybe it'll come up. Hopefully it'll come up again. It may be in your section, but yeah, that's an incredible video. And now we're back to Aneta.
That was mine. Yes,
Yeah.
that was mine.
Yeah. So you've got these here again is the beam of light coming down.
Yeah, actually, it's a beam of light in front of me. Yeah.
Another one. I think we showed that one.
Another
already.
one.
This one
Yeah,
again we
another
showed.
one. Yeah.
And here you get them, they start to bend. You got the bending, and you'll see some of the ones from Arizona later where they bend all over the place. It's not just like somebody would say, oh, it's a flashlight, but you can see this is not a flashlight. It's and here, is this yours, Aneta?
Yes, this is mine. Yeah.
So it's
This
going
is mine
across.
too.
You see again. There's-
Yeah.
And it sort of
Mhm.
ends. It doesn't go out of the screen. It's sort of, you can see where it starts and where it stops.
Yes, actually said.
Oh, Stan Ho had these as well. So this is the pillars of light. So Stan Ho, he started showing me his orb photos, and then suddenly he's got the pillars of light as well. And it seems like it's part of the whatever the phenomena is. It eventually produces these sort of pillars of light or whatever you want to call them. This is another one, I think Stan Ho's from Hong Kong, that he's got thousands of photographs as well
It's
of
beautiful.
Mostly
Beautiful
orb.
picture.
And there you get this orb. And here, this is yours again.
Yes.
Pretty,
My again.
pretty intense, pretty bright. And yet it fades out at the bottom. You would think that it would be, you know, so was this an object that was putting down, or do you remember this one?
I do not remember. No. There are a lot of lights, you know, around.
And here we get, this is yours, right? Where
Yes,
you're
this
getting
is
multiple.
mine.
They're all over the
Yes.
place.
Yes, and certain type of a fog here.
Yeah.
You know,
Almost
here.
like they come out of the fog, or the fog is part of it, or whatever.
Yes,
You
yes.
get these
Actually, yes, I found out at first that there are coming few orbs, then a lot of orbs, and then fog, you know.
Wow.
I found that out. I don't know, maybe the other experiences have the same experience
That's
like
the
this.
pattern I'm starting to find. That's the important part of research, is that you take these people's experiences and you put them all down and record them, and you start seeing these patterns, like the fog appears,
Yeah.
the orbs, and all this kind of stuff, the beams of light, and you start to see these patterns in what looks like you know, some people taking random photos.
Yes,
This again is yours.
yes.
You have what, a couple thousand photos, or at least?
Much more, much more. I don't know. Oh yeah, this
Is
is
this yours?
yes, one of my favorites. Yes,
That's
yes,
pretty
this
intense.
is pretty intense. I have few of them and made it in a few nights
Wow.
in a row. Yeah,
Wow.
beautiful.
That's
This
yours
is
as well?
yes, that's my too. This is very interesting because you can see here is starting and there is something here, you know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
put this light down.
Starts, yeah.
Yes, and here again another one. Oh yeah, this is very interesting. Yes, because when you watch it carefully, you can see this picture is like cut in the middle, but it is one picture, because this light was covering me the half of my left part of my body, and
Wow.
this is the house where I'm living, and the sky, you know, and this amazing light. And I was feeling fantastic. Nothing hurts, nothing at all. It was amazing. You know, I would like to have much of this experience with the lights. You know, I will request maybe. Yes, and amazing.
Do you
Yeah.
feel this unconditional love that comes when you're around the beings and the orbs?
Absolutely, Grant. Absolutely. There is no evil, not at all. No evil. A love, and you know, I'm so emotional. Oh, only by talking, you know, I cannot talk because it's you cannot put it in words. It's beautiful.
And your son has been part of this as well. It's not just you. Your son has been there
Yes.
photographing and stuff.
Yes, my son is very much, it's starting to going deeper. You know what happened a few nights ago? He was, you know, waking up in the middle of the night, scared,
Yeah.
outside of his bed, screaming
Wow.
that it was terrible and very, very sad. But
Wow.
he didn't remember the dream. I think he was aboard some ship somewhere, and I asked my friends to be a little bit gentle with him for the beginning. You know, for me it's okay because I don't call it abduction, I call it cooperation, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is interesting, this is beautiful.
Yeah, it's like split in the middle there, and then you
Yeah.
see sort of an orb coming from the left as well.
Yes, here an orb, and here is I think it is a ship here in the middle. And
Wow.
you see, this is the middle of the town, you know, outside. I'm living in downtown of the
Yeah.
capital city.
Yeah.
Of course, it is at night. Yes, this is one of the last few.
And again,
Huge
that's, you
orb.
can see it just starts in one spot. It doesn't go right through. It starts in one spot, and
In one
Yeah,
spot,
yeah.
actually, yes.
yeah, it's kind of weird. And this one is yours.
And yes.
This
Ah,
is
yeah.
this is the again, this mist or this fog stuff.
Yes, that they didn't
People
know
have
what
to
it
tune in
was.
on your full presentation, where we do a full presentation. We go through, and you take the
Great.
screen and you show me all these photos that just amazing, the stuff you've gotten.
Ah, yes. This is the fog.
Yeah.
And at one certain point in 1 second, this fog was in front of me, and you know, it is in the same time while I'm making the picture and the fog is there. You know,
Wow.
it's beautiful. This one too.
Yeah, I think
I
this
mean,
comes from a
I
different.
don't know. No,
Yeah,
it's
this is
not
from
mine.
what do they call it? Instrumental transcommunication. I just was talking to a girl last night. This is hers. They're using fog. They're actually making fog with a machine and over top of water, and they get the orbs start to appear. So you can see this across modalities that other people are able to produce this as well. This is yours.
Yes, this is mine, and I didn't know it was there. I mean, this thing here.
Up on the
I
top.
think
Yeah.
it is a part of a ship or something. It's not an orb, maybe. I don't know, but it looks like a ship. And
Yeah.
these circles here above my house.
Yeah, you see that in the one that that Marcel showed that was taken from
Yes.
Wisconsin, of that wall of light along the forest there. You could see in there, you saw these almost like rainbows, the same sort of shape as what you've got here.
Yes,
inside that-
yes. I'm very glad that Marcel have it, because I thought it was the camera, you know, defect or I don't know. So great, Marcel. Nice pictures.
There you go.
Yes.
Same here.
This double rainbow thing, which was in that wall. If you look at that wall very carefully,
Yeah.
there's two double
Yes.
rainbow type
Yes.
shapes in there.
Yeah.
Here's some more of
And
this fog.
the fog too here. Yeah, the picture from before.
Here's orb with a
Orb.
bunch of other orbs around. It's pretty intense.
Mm-hmm.
Here's one that's moving there,
Yeah, big one, and
and this big one on you in your room.
in my room, yes.
Here's another,
Here
yeah.
and here too.
And you can see the one is sort of moving, or it's sort of in two spots at one time.
Mhm.
And this one, oh, this one we did already. And then you get a lot of these where it's sort of like
This, yes.
it's like it's moving. This one is yours.
Yes, it's very
That's the
big.
roof of the house, right? On the right there.
Yes, yes, it is in the front yard of the house. This one. Oh yeah.
That's beautiful.
Wow.
Yeah, well, the series of this orb that was coming to me. I think I sent it to you. Yes, I sent it to you, I think.
If you ever come to America, you have to go with Marcel and Jeff, and you're like a magnet. The stuff seems.
Oh, there are magnets too. Yeah, I will be very happy. Yeah.
Yeah, see, you got two there, like, and here.
Oh yes. This
And
thing
when you
was,
get photographs, you usually when you send them to me, you got like 15, like this, and then moving as moving around. You never
yeah,
get one or two. You get like a whole series at one time.
yes.
This is the Chris Bledsoe one. That's the first time I saw the thing. This is Chris Bledsoe's
Mhm.
um, sort of beam of light. This is a guy in Winnipeg who was healed, blue orb. I don't know if I have the blue orb in here, but this appeared just before the blue orb. He would photograph these orbs flying around his bedroom, but you can see the one here where the blue light is coming down from the ceiling between the two closets. And here's one from Tony Bintz. He was on last orb show where he got a whole series of these in a billiard hall in Great Britain, where the same sort of thing, where these sort of like or all connected orbs, or an orb moving at a very high speed or whatever. And here's another one of yours with multiple. Well, one of the explanations that had come up was it's a spider on the lens, and I said, well, there's a lot of spiders
Ah.
in some of these lenses here. It's like, I just want one thing. It's like,
Cannot be around all the time. Yeah.
and this is the one from the Skinwalker Ranch, and they were really excited. They said, look at what we got here. It's like they got
Yeah.
the beam of light, and then they have an object under watch later. There's actually an intense white spot. There's actually a white sort of orb that goes from the left to the right through the frame. But I just got one freeze frame where you can see this, and they were really excited about this beam of light. Well, I mean, it doesn't happen at Skinwalker Ranch. It's happening all over the world, and people have got some pretty good photographs of it. This is again is Connie's. So you can see the color. Is this yours, Connie?
Yeah, that's mine.
Yeah. So you see this light, which is really interesting, where you got these various, and some people, there's an idea of, what do you think? Because people talk about the chakra thing, the colors of the chakra. What do you think is, you get impressions, or do you get?
I don't really know, but the first thing that popped in my mind was the chakra thing.
Yeah, the different
So,
chakras.
But now I'm not sure.
Because you're one of there's a couple of people that are that have got the ones. I'll show you the other ones from Arizona, but it's kind of almost like a development where first you see the orbs, and then you see the sort of the beams of light, and then they start putting lights in because this again it almost looks like a bunch of orbs all strung together of different colors.
Yeah, it's like balls. Yeah,
Balls all together.
right.
Well, here's your stuff now. Okay, so here we go. Now we're going to get your video will be coming on, which people have to see. So you've got a lot of orb videos as well.
Right.
And this is the thing, you originally sent the video to Desta, and I thought it was just one video. And then I said, well, she got anything else? And it's like, and it was like the same thing. It's like, oh yeah, she's got piles of these things. It's like, so what is this one here?
That was just an orb in my bedroom, and it struck me that it was sort of rainbow colored also.
Oh.
It had color to it. That was out in the backyard, and it was some sort of cylinder. I don't know what it is, but I thought it was interesting.
And how long have you been taking these photos?
Really only about 5 years.
Okay.
Seems like I started taking them after I went to East Eddy Ranch for the first time. I've been there several times, but I got really interested after going there, of course.
Yeah.
And started taking pictures.
Are you an experiencer, or have you had a near-death experience or anything that triggers this?
Well, I had my 20s and into my 30s, I had sleep paralysis stuff almost every night.
Wow.
Where I felt like I was getting yanked out of my bed. And that did happen after I had major back surgery at Stanford.
Oh.
And it was like a 10-hour surgery where they put rods in my back. So I always wondered if there was some connection between that. And many years later, I was driving home, and my daughter and I were driving in our neighborhood, and 3 ships came over the car, like right over the car, so close that you could have thrown a rock at them.
Wow.
And so I started getting really interested after that.
Wow. That's what people don't realize. So when you start talking to the experiencers and you start asking these questions about trauma, near-death experience, and stuff like that, you start to see these patterns that pop up over and over again. I think we can learn from people. And I'm very sorry to say that people really ignore the experiencers, the people that are taking these photographs and having these experiences, because that's where the answer is going to lie. I mean, if anybody's going to answer it, it's people like the people that are on this broadcast today who will be able to lead us and explain what's going on. Is this yours as well? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that is mine.
That's a blow up. That's pretty intense. Do you see the faces too? Do you get the idea that there's faces?
Yeah, occasionally I do. I've seen like lions in them, and people, definitely.
Wow. So you got the feline thing as well?
I have, yeah. I don't think I have it here though.
Oh wow, because that's another one that just came up. I never heard about felines, and now it's like, every 10th person's got some feline connection.
Right.
And this is yours, right? But it's,
yeah, that's mine.
And what do you make of this? It almost looks like letters, or
Well, if you step back, it looks like Jesus to me. It's a face.
Wow.
Okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, when I didn't know what it was, I looked at it later. I was like, whoa. And then if you
That's the
really
thing.
look at it and recognize that, you can really, really see it.
Wow, you're right. Yeah, when you step back. Good thing
Yeah.
you pointed that out. I never would have. That's the thing. You got to talk to the experiencer, because they'll point out stuff that I would have.
Mhm.
That would have just gone right by me.
Yeah.
This one's yours.
Yeah. Which I suspect looked to me like a fairy.
Oh, so again, you get the elementals. That's what people will bring
Right.
up. They'll show you all the orb photos, and then all of a sudden, oh, we got this thing. It's not really. It's an angel, or it's an elemental, or it's like
Yeah.
whatever,
can
and
see
it
a
always
little
pops up.
face.
People
Yeah.
have one of them. They only have 1 or 2 of them, but everybody seems to eventually film one of these things.
Right.
Oh, this is beautiful.
That's yours? Wow,
that's-
yeah, you got a bunch of them there.
Yeah,
also.
that's mine out. And this is all
Oh,
at
that's
my
it.
house.
You got the same thing where you've got the bunch of them all, like strings of them all over the place, and
Right.
one main one that seems to be going across.
Yeah, that was in my backyard, and I don't know what that is, but
Wow.
I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, it almost looks like a ship. It's like
Well,
it's
that's what I felt like it was when I took it.
wow.
And that same kind of thing. I felt like that was a ship.
Wow.
But that one was really different from anything.
This is yours?
This is at East Eddy Ranch, and it's at their medicine wheel. And that was broad daylight, no moisture around or anything. And one of the guys who works there said, "Oh, you caught the Stargate." That's cool. So
Cool.
those were two of the three ships that were over my car.
Wow. We got a blow up of the one. It's pretty spectacular here.
Yeah. Yeah,
Sounds
that's
like
it.
The Tic Tac. You got the Tic Tac was chasing you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. So there was 3 of them, and that
There
is
were 3 of them. They were in triangle formation.
wow.
And then they changed positions, and I was screaming at my daughter, "Take pictures," and she was screaming at me, "Drive!" It's like, "Get out of here!" And we took some pictures, and yeah, there was no sound. It was dead silent, no sound.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
Feel
crazy.
lucky to be involved in this.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
A lot of people would sort of die, give the right arm to get an experience like that. They're always saying, "Well,
Yeah.
I don't say anything," but
Yeah.
is that yours?
That's mine. Yeah, that's in the backyard.
Oh, again, it's like that fog stuff. It's like there's one with Chris Bledsoe during the day where he films that. Almost looks like Chris Bledsoe's photograph.
Yeah. I think I actually sent this to him.
Yeah, I mean it looks exactly like his. Exactly.
Mhm.
I mean, it's really weird.
Yeah.
And this one's again, you got to cross the sky here, eh?
Yeah, that's at East Eddy also.
Wow. And this is yours again. You got the color,
Right.
and I think we're gonna. Yeah, there's yours
Yeah.
again.
with
That you got the color in yours, not
The
just.
color again. Yeah.
And there's another one. Is there 3 of them there?
I think there are
4.
2 of these.
Yeah, and you got it's like the balls, different colors of balls all strung together.
Right. Skittles.
Skittles, yeah. Here's the one we originally showed here.
Right.
This one is really good. I mean, that's pretty clear.
Yeah.
And
And that's not
it-
mine.
Yeah, that one's the one from Arizona. And I tried to get
Okay.
her to come on. She's got the wildest stuff. I mean, but I just want to show that she's also getting the thing with the different colors. So you get the
Yeah. Yeah. You sent me a few of them, and they're very
Yeah.
similar.
color. And she's got health problems, but eventually I'm going to get her into an interview. I said, all you got to do is sit there. I'm going to flip through the photos and you can just go through, because she's like living in Disneyland. The stuff she's getting is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Here's the other one that she got. This is the
Right.
one the guy said it could be a spider. And it's like, okay, give your head a shake.
That'd be a spider.
And so you can see the balls and you can see they're sort of strung together over her house. And that's why I said, well, if it's a spider, explain this one she got. I mean, like, look at this.
Wow.
I mean, there's like 5,000 spiders on this little cell phone lens. I mean, come on, this is like the stuff this woman's got is just, Teresa, is just unbelievable. So you're seeing these patterns across these various people and, from different countries around the world. Here again is, whose is that? I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's mine.
That's yours. Okay, so
Yeah.
yours looks like some different colors too. You got yellow, green.
Yes, actually yellow, green, purple,
Yeah, 'cause that's what
blue.
happened. I asked you. I said, "Have you got any of these ones with?" The
Yeah.
colors?" Oh,
No.
actually, you sent me about a dozen. Photos. You got
Yeah.
a collection that's
Mhm.
priceless. I mean, the stuff people can watch your video. It's pretty spectacular, the stuff. And you've got the thing. We won't get into it, but you've got a couple of photographs of the beings, and you got the beings singing light language to each other. You got
Yes.
incredibly
Amazing experience with that being with the beings singing.
singing, yeah. And
Yeah.
here again, this is yours, right? And you got the different
Yes.
colors. It's
Yes,
almost
this is
like
mine.
And these colors, I mean, I maintain that I didn't see them till a month ago, and then suddenly it's almost like they're changing the pattern, and they say, well, let's put some colors in for them now. It's like, here's the video. Here's Connie's video. This is incredible. You'll see the video coming. I think the orb coming from the bottom left, and then just watch what happens here. So you're gonna play? Oh shoot! Come on. Oh no, it's not gonna play. Explain. Okay, so Connie, it's not gonna play. So explain what happens here.
Well, I think you're right. It comes from the bottom left, and it's just a bright stream that goes like zigzags. It goes back and forth.
Oh, it's too bad we can't play that because
real
that is,
fast.
I had it looped. It's just bizarre. It's like it lights up the whole room. It's just
Yeah,
like lightning in
and
the
it lit
room.
up the floor. Yeah, it was like chaotic, you know,
Why
just
can I not play this? Hang on here. I got to see if I can play this here. Let's see. Why can I not play this? No, I guess I can't. Oh shoot, that was the best. That was the best shot of the whole day. Oh, too bad. So Joanne is not here. Yeah, shoot, I'm sad that that didn't play because that's. What I'll do is I'll put that on my Facebook. I'll post that on my Facebook site for people that missed it because it's an incredible video. You got to see that. And we have no real explanation. It's just like this thing lighting up the whole room, sort of zigzagging around. And
yeah,
it only lasts what, maybe a second, and
yeah, not long. It just goes back and forth a few times, and
yeah.
I could actually see it through my phone when I was doing it. I was like, whoa, what is going on?
Yeah, that was pretty impressive. That's a winner. I'll post that for people that are watching so they can see what that video, because it's pretty impressive video. Now the other person I had on today that she's not here is Joanne. I don't think she's here.
She is in the chat. I don't know. She's not on here, but she is in the chat.
Oh, chat. Okay, so hi Joanne. I sent her an invite. She's actually originally from Canada and now lives in Great Britain. She had a bunch of photos, and she had this one here taken a number of years ago, and you can see this orb in her hair. And she started to look at her photos after, because we've been friends for many years. She started looking at her photos and she started to find these photos, and she found some with her and with me in. Here's the one. I don't think she took this, but this is the one that as I said, people say, it's easy to get orb photographs, but all the skeptics, they never show you any photographs. They just say, oh yeah, it's easy. Yeah. And so they said, just put a flash on and go walk around at night. And so I did that and took like, whatever, 200 photographs and absolutely nothing. I took photographs in the videos in my room, and I took this and that, and I couldn't get one, but I've had some around me. So here's this giant orb. This is in Leeds, England, when I was lecturing there on the left-hand side. And Joanne and I had, you'll see here, this is, we both lectured in Ireland, and you can see the orb on the right-hand side there. And there's one down along the bottom of that cover on that table on the right-hand side. So she's got these orb photos here again on the piano cover there. You can see orbs. And so I've had photos with me in the orb, and there may even be one on the bottom of my face. But anyway, Joanne went through her photographs, and she's got a few with here's a giant orb over her. And here she's got some that she took. I showed these last time with family, where here's one along the bed. And she's an experiencer, does healing work, does a lot of stuff, has run conferences in Great Britain. It's pretty active. I actually put out an album on experiencer music. And too bad she's not here. She could explain all this. Here along the wall, you'll see, here's one. I don't think yeah, she took this. Yeah, she has this one. And you'll see it's basically the same one that she had in her hair. It looks like the same orb. Stan Ho, we're going to put his presentation. We did an interview with him. Sinead Wellhan and I did an interview with him last week or the week before. He's from Hong Kong. Again, he's got thousands and literally thousands of photographs of orbs. And he actually does a lot of experiments with rain and stuff like that, where he goes out and pouring rain, and he's able to attract these things, and he's able to make them appear around himself. He starts to meditate, and then next thing, the photograph starts to show all these orbs. He wrote a book called Another Reality, and you'll see this we do a 1.5 hour interview with him, and he goes through a lot of his photographs. I'm just going to show you some here today to show you that there are a lot of these people around the world who have huge collections, and they have not gone public. They're not, there's another girl from Australia that'll be in Orb 3. I haven't even talked to her yet. She claims she's got more than anybody else in the world. So here's Stan doing an experiment where he's doing a meditation, and the orbs start to increase in the photographs, where he does a lot of various experiments. Here's one I think he does in Indonesia. I think he's doing this one. No, and this is still in Hong Kong. But again, he will do these experiments where he goes out and he gets all these photographs of him in the photograph. Here, he did a lot of analysis in his book. He analyzes different blow-ups of different orb photographs that he's got. And here you can see he's doing the experiment. I have one guy who will be maybe in orb 3, where they can do the photograph where they can actually make the orb sit on the person's hand, where they're doing the meditation thing, where they're able to bring this in. So Stan is doing these various experiments where he's trying to bring these orbs in. Here's some of his other photographs. And again, he's got literally thousands of photographs. And I can't get a single photograph. And I actually asked, my sister's taken 60,000 photographs. And people say, I get these orbs all the time, whatever. So I said to my sister, I said, okay, how many photographs? 60,000. How many orbs have you got? She said, oh, I got one of the Cortina. That was like 30 years ago. And it wasn't even digital photo then. 1 out of 60,000. So I went to Sid Goldberg, who's taken a lot of photographs. I said, Sid, how many photographs are you taking? He said, 50,000 to 70,000. I said, how many? You got a lot of orbs with you in the orb, maybe half a dozen with you in the picture. How many have you got where you took the orb photograph? And he said, oh, maybe 10 out of like 60 or 70, 50 to 70,000. So you could have 130,000 photographs and only 11 orb photographs. They're not rare. They're not common like everybody thinks they are. It has to do with the person who's holding the camera. I maintain that, or the person that's in the photo, there's a connection. This is not something you can just go out and do. And Stan is one of these guys like a magnet who can produce all these kind of things. Here's another one of his ones here. Again, he goes around Hong Kong and takes these photographs. You can see some bright, some small. Here's a bright one. Here's one with a hole in it. Here's again, goes to parks in Hong Kong. This may be his. No, this is back. Why have I got Aneta stuff? No. This is Stan's. So you see, Aneta had these photographs. Stan's got the same photographs, and you start seeing across when you start analyzing all these people's photographs. You see these very common patterns, almost like you can't tell who took the photograph. They're the same photographs. Where you see these things are moving around. And we've got this video. So that's basic. Okay, this is the girl that I'm trying to get on. Her stuff is just unbelievable. It's just like Disneyland of orbs. These are some of her photographs. And she's just using a standard Android camera. Here you can see the balls again. It's almost like the string of balls with the color in the orb. Or in the beam of light. She's got this kind of stuff, and she's just taking it around her place. I think she lives in sort of the Phoenix area. And here's Lori. I'll quickly go through. And I asked, this is Lori, who I stay at their place, married to Julie, and I stay in Denver, Colorado. And I asked him, there was one orb photograph that he had, and I said, can you send me that orb photograph? And I'll show it to you in a minute. And then I said, you got any others? And of course, it sends me like 100 photographs. So I'm going to go really quickly through these photographs and show you this guy was not public with his orb photographs. It wasn't until I asked for an orb photograph for this presentation that I saw this. Here you'll see them sort of in the clouds. This is, I guess, outside Denver. Here's an event they're having. You see orbs all over the place. Orbs again. Orbs again. They're in I don't know what this event is. He couldn't come to the broadcast. He said I could use it. Here's Julie in a tent, and she's very she's famous for any book I have. I say, have you got that book? And she says, oh, I got 2 copies. Would you like the one? And she's got like this massive book collection. And here's an event. I believe this was Stan Romanek was there. This was an event in Florida where we lectured for Paula Harris, and this is at the Skywatch, and Lori's taking photographs. Here's some sort of event. There's Julie there. You can see the orb above the guy's head. Here's this may be Las Vegas. Her son works in Las Vegas, is one of the acts there, and you can see the orbs there. Orbs again, orbs again. And this is a guy who does not really his wife's big into it, but he's the guy that stands around the side and takes photographs, and there's giant orb there. I think that was a C5 event as well. You can see the orbs there, orbs there. Here's one going to get gas. Here's some family members, and you see the orbs. Come on. You see the orbs again along the window and below. So they're picking up these orbs all the time. Again, above the couch there, you'll see here one, they're having some sort of event. And the orbs, there's quite a few in this thing show up at this event. Almost like you raise the vibration and it starts to almost like, or Stan meditates and the orbs start to increase. So Larry had just these, and I just asked him and he said, oh, I got lots of orb photographs that he'd been taking. Here's one here. This one I really like. It's like she's posing with the orb. I'm not even sure who that is. Orbs here. Here's orb in the tree above the balloons. Here's one where they're playing footsie with it. And it's in the middle of the room there. Here's the most bizarre one. Paula Harris always has, this is where the big UFO conference always was for many years. And then Paula Harris took over. She's been there for maybe 6 years or 5 years. And you'll see here's one, the orb on the left side above, it's a heart above the Aquarius. I remember them talking about this when they took that photograph. They've seen that heart? And they picked up this, and I tried to photograph the Aquarius because you can see the one building in the other building. I took a pile of photographs of this, trying to get this reflection of the one building in the other building. I got no orbs, and here they pick up this heart. This is the one in Florida, at Sebring, Florida, where the lecture was. And Stan Romanek was there, and there was a bunch of sightings just as Stan was coming in the door. People yelling, something's outside, and there's some other, and all the bears excited. This is the Skywatch. I didn't go. I went there for about 2 minutes. I hate Skywatches because, I mean, I always say, if you saw what I saw, you'd go home too. I mean, I saw some stuff pretty close in 1975. So I don't really, not too keen on, I've seen stuff I really don't need to see anymore. But you'll see the girl in the middle, right in the middle, there's a little tiny girl. She's 9 years old. She wrote a UFO book. She was actually there. Paula Harris helped her write a UFO book. She's fascinated. She would be now probably late teens, but this was the Skywatch, and you see the orbs at the Skywatch. This is I think a wedding event. Here's some more orbs at the wedding. Here's one on the dress. Here's one in the rafters. That one you've seen. Here is a band. You'll see above the band, orbs. You get this vibration. You get noise, music. Here's Laurie in his outfit from many years ago. Here's the guy who took all the photos, and he's not really, you know, he's not a big UFO reading guy or whatever. Here's another one up in the tree, up in the bush above there. This event, wherever they were, underground. Here's Paula Harris in the background. You'll see a bunch of orbs there. Here again, it's some sort of outside Skywatch event or whatever. And you get all these orbs showing up. So he has this huge collection again of extensive amounts of orbs. And I just asked for one orb photograph. And that was the one with the little girl in it.
Beautiful.
And you can see this. And you can see here, I'm there, and there's no orbs. We're in their living room there with a bunch of the people from Boulder, and nothing. So I'm not one of the people that the magnets that can bring them on. I go to the people who can bring them on, and they get it for me. Here's some sort of event, and here's some of the last ones, and then we'll shut it down. This is inside a car. You can see it's inside a car. There's a guy barbecuing with the orbs. Here's a giant one on stage. Again, we've seen that one. Okay, and that's basically it. So I don't know if we want to open for, it's pretty late. Desta, do you think there's any questions that the panel may want to answer? We can just open up the mic.
There wasn't really. People are like asking the a handful of questions that you guys have already answered. Kind of like, is there a connection between the person and the orbs? I don't know. I can ask a couple, but I think we've already talked
Okay,
about
well, maybe let's go through final comments. Anybody wants to make a comment about what they think is going on and what people should look for in terms of orbs? Maybe we can just go do a round table and then we'll shut it down.
And maybe like the type of camera, or if you think there should be a flash or not, and if
Okay.
there's a connection with you in the orbs. Those are like only the handful of questions.
Okay, so what they think, the type of camera they use, do they use flashes? And maybe what they think about the skeptics saying, it's just dust, it's spiders, it's swamp gas, it's whatever. They make up. Okay, Aneta, you want to start? Go ahead.
Well, what I'm using in my experience is the normal cell phone, nothing special. I think if you want to catch, if I may say, orbs in your pictures, you have to open your heart, not to expect, just to be there, you know, and whatever comes, you know, orbs, ships, beings, just open your heart. I mean, that's my experience
Beautiful.
in an orbs, yes.
And what do you think they are?
I think that they are beings.
Okay.
They are beings. Sometimes there are also ships in the orbs. I actually don't have experiences with the dead people in orbs. I'm seeing sometimes also ghosts, you know.
Yeah.
But talking about orbs, I think they're beings and ships and multidimensional beings, or I don't know. I'm not asking where they come from. For me, it's beautiful to meet them, to give them love, and they give me love too. Maybe sound silly, but you know, it's the way it's function, you know.
Yeah.
Just open your heart. You will meet everybody from everywhere.
Beautiful. Well, I thank you for what you do. I mean, you brought joy to me to see these photographs. You've got an incredible collection, and I again recommend to people watch the interview that you and I do, where you go through your photos. It's spectacular. Thanks.
Thank you, Grant. I'm honored being here, and yes, I hope we'll have another next or panel or ship or alien panel. Thank you guys too.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Who's next?
I'll go.
Okay.
I agree 100% with Aneta. I think if you open your heart, things will develop. Again, I don't ask where they come from or any reasons. I feel fortunate when they show up, and it's the feeling. And to me, it's like establishing a long-term relationship. Little by little, you're establishing the contact, and it gets more and more intense and profound. And I feel very rewarded when something happens. So, and to me, it really doesn't matter where they come from or really what they are. Of course, my mind tries to figure that out. Are they interdimensional beings, or are they a higher portion of ourselves? It's probably all of the above, and it's probably extraterrestrial as well. As far as the cameras are concerned, I don't use my cell phone. I did early on. I like using the Sony, a high-powered Sony, because it allows a lot of light in. It's really good in low light situations. So I use a Sony the A3, Sony A7 Mark III, for those who ask what camera. And I also use a fixed lens. I don't like anything automatic because it tries to hunt, especially in low light. So I usually buy older, like Canon lenses back from the late 1970s, because they're great solid lenses. And now they make adapters so you can put on your digital camera. So you get $18, $20, you can get an adapter and you can get some beautiful glass. And I love the 50 to 80 millimeter range, because you can be far away enough to be able to get a good portion of the sky. When you get telephoto lenses, you're so close that, you know, you get a lot of jittery stuff. So I prefer, my favorite is a 50 millimeter lens with a aperture, you know, wide open. I think I get the best results. You can get some color of the sky as well. So you can, instead of black sky, you can see a little bit of blue sky. And that's basically it. And I thank you for having me here and having the ability to share this. And I'm actually blown away about what everybody has shown today. You know.
And what do you say to the skeptics? Because you're a guy who's done some photograph. What do you hear when you hear people coming up with all these?
Yeah, it's people need to rationalize it. Everybody's got their own filters, how to comprehend things. And, you know, at first I used to get taken back by it. You get really defensive because, you know, you've had a really profound, beautiful experience and you will never convince anybody. So I think what we're trying to do is just get the message out and explain what happened during that event.
Right.
But if you're a skeptic, you're always going to be a skeptic. And they could say that's just a lens flare or so you picked up a light from what have you. And it's okay. It's just they're not ready to accept it. But what Aneta said is opening your heart and mind. That's the most important thing. And if you can inspire other people to do the same thing, to have that experience, that's wonderful. We really don't need to prove, you know, anything to anybody. It's just inspire people to do this. And I think that by doing this and moving this forward and having other people have their own experiences, we've achieved what we're supposed to be doing. For some reason, we've all kind of been called to this just a few years ago. You know, I would have never done this 10 years ago. If you would have said you're going to be sitting here doing a Zoom chat, you know, with Grant doing this, I would have said you're insane, you know. But for some reason, it happened, and we were all drawn to this. And I think it's wonderful. It's a beautiful experience, and I love sharing this with you guys.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, Marcel.
You're welcome.
Who's next? Jeff is back. Jeff, we're just doing a roundtable to close it down. And basically the question is, what do you think? What kind of camera do you use? And what do you think is going on?
Well, to me, it's amazing. I've always been interested in this type of thing. It was, you know, back in the day, it was science fiction. Watching, I think that's why I'm attracted to the Southwest. It's from watching all the Class B horror movies back in the 60s, you know. You know, when you start seeing things, you know you're not being told the truth about it. You know there's people that know more about it. It's unfortunate it's been withheld from us for so long. And that's one of the reasons why when I got into this, I was watching the testimonies on YouTube that Dr. Greer provided. I could not believe these people were lying. I mean, of all things, you can pick any of those YouTube videos, any one that appeals to you, and there's just no reason to believe that they're lying about this stuff. So to me, it's incredible when you start experiencing these things. And what I've learned, you know, I didn't necessarily want to be the person that would experience it through feeling. You know, I'm a guy. Guys are more, you know, not feeling oriented, but that's how it manifests itself in me. And I'm very grateful for that. And some of these pictures were a result of feeling that things were going on. And unfortunately, I couldn't find the one where my buddy said, we're out in the desert, and he said, hey, there's a purple light behind your head. I never saw it, you know, but he says, hey, there it goes. I had a camera on my chest. I just took a picture, and there's a purple light in it. You know, the camera saw it, my buddy saw it, but I never saw it. So that is a little different. That the way that happened, it can explain away some of the other hypotheses about wishful thinking and other things, you know, that people come up with. I can't think of all of them on hand, but hey, I'd just like to show you something quick. And this is what's unfortunate too, is so often we see bogus stuff. If I could just share something quick.
Yeah.
Let me just try this, see if I can get this. Now this is full screen. Why did this go to full screen? Here, hang on. I lost my desktop. Let's see here. Here, okay. That should be sharing. Is that sharing? No, it's not. There it is. Okay, there. Can you see that? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's beautiful, right?
Yeah.
That is Venus. You know,
yeah.
Nothing special about that. But if Venus is out of focus, this is what it looks like with a camera. Okay, now you see structure in it, and this must be a piece of dirt on my sensor right here. But this is the thing that we have to be wary about. You know, there are people out there that are abusing the system, more or less. And that's an extreme example of Venus being out of focus. So, you know, that's something to be aware of. We all want to know the truth about things. And so, you know, there's people in there muddying the waters too.
Yeah, as with everything. Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Thanks for what you do. Thanks for
Well,
your input.
thank you, Grant. Thanks for giving me the opportunity.
Beautiful.
I'll go, Grant, if you want.
Okay. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alfred, go.
I see this as different components and aspects. Primarily, you have the conscious component, you have the heart component, and you have the intention component. And the consciousness is the focal point of the contact. And as we all know, consciousness is not limited to space or time. It's an omnipresent field of awareness. So knowing that consciousness is omnipresent, we can access any point in space or time. I mean, Einstein said that he called being and bilocating in two places at the same time the spooky effect. So if you take that basic fundamental analysis and hypothesis and expand on it, you realize that through consciousness and through the heart and intention that this is possible. And it's really waking up all of us in a way that we need to be woken up to, because what the messages I get is a message that many people get, is that we need to shift the pattern of our diversion and of society and our system into a singularity, into completion of oneness, to get back to spirit. And that's what they're asking us to do. And hopefully through your channel and other channels, it's a vehicle to show people, to expand their consciousness and to wake people up, because that's what it's all about. There's a saying, the Hindus say Salele Bhuvan, which was given to me by an ET, and it says, there is one heaven, there is one world, there is one people. As the Mayans used to say, I am but another one of you. So at the end of the day, we're all one. So that's the main purpose of why they're doing this. And we're seeing more of this. There's an amplification of this happening because of what's happening on Earth today.
Beautiful. And just thanks for all the stuff you present and what you do. Just one suggestion, maybe you can put a mirror on the wall. When I saw the thing reflect, maybe you can actually get a mirror on that side wall and get the thing coming off the mirror as it comes towards you, because you can produce that anytime you want. You do your meditation and you get that effect where you get these piles of orbs flying around like a.
Yeah, well, I can get the orbs. I get the vapor mist, the smoke. I mean, I can manifest anything. As I said in the beginning, it's an internal manifestation that also it's co-created externally. So it's kind of like a correlation or a collaboration with energies. Yeah. So once people get their mind wrapped around that, they understand that we can manifest anything, and it's not manifesting by me only. As Jacques Vallée said, we exist not only in this reality, but we coexist with other realities. So we have to learn how to do that. Beautiful. And coexist together in a peaceful way.
Beautiful. Thank you. And Connie, you get to wrap it up for us here.
Okay.
Words of wisdom.
As far as the camera, I just use a regular old iPhone. And when I'm out there at night, yes, the flash is on. Yeah. Someone asked that in the chat. And yeah, I think there's a consciousness component to it all. I think the orbs are beings, definitely. Whether it's ET or souls or interdimensional beings, what have you, I think that's their vehicle to travel. And I feel fortunate that I get to see them, definitely.
Wow. Well, thanks for what you do and what you provided, and contacting Desta, because well, maybe I have to do an interview with you with your experience with because it seems to be more than just orbs. I just saw the one video, And I apologize, I didn't get to show your video because it's,
Oh,
pretty-
that's okay.
I will make sure it's on Facebook, and thanks. Let's do an interview sometime where we can.
No problem at all. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, and thank you to Desta for hosting, and thanks for everybody showing up. And they're going to be in Orb 3. I've already got a lot of material. I'm sort of getting swamped with all this stuff now. People are coming with their collections of orbs, and whatever they are, they're very interesting to look at. They're spectacular. Some of the photos are just breathtaking.
It's fun.
Beautiful. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Grand.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.